welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition here of the HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup number 28, Revelation Retake. Oh, as we are working through not just the group stage, but now through the playoffs. We've made it here to the final day of the playoffs. I'm of course ShoWTimE VIP, with you joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Whew, we are back. We have returned here, and it's been a pretty intense week of StarCraft, catching up with all of HomeStory Cup, with all of the groups, and of course through all the playoffs as well, to the point where we've reached here, the final day of the playoffs. We have our top four. We have our top four players, and let's catch up on the bracket back. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Of course, we were live last night with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, and it was an amazing tournament with a plethora of PvPs, of course, but with some crazy upsets as well. Won't spoil it. Do recommend the VODs though. Do highly recommend the VODs. We had some amazing StarCraft last night, and the StarCraft continues this morning here as we do catch up on said bracket. From the top, we have ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, he worked his way through SOS, through Big Gabe as well, to advance onto the upper bracket finals. Likewise, Clem was showcasing his TVZ prowess, not dropping a single map. Clem, he 3-0'd Lambo, he 3-0'd several, and is up against ShoWTimE in the upper bracket finals. Let's go, Bible, let's go. We have our top two players. Meanwhile, don't forget, there is a lower bracket. There's a lower bracket. We had Big Gabe. Big Gabe, he was able to pop off. He was able to bring down several in a TVZ in a 3-2 scoreline. Bearing in mind that Big Gabe, of course, he did showcase a lot of mech in that series. I was able to bring several down, advancing on to lower bracket finals. So we have our top three, I should emphasize. Top three players. We have Clem, ShoWTimE, and HeRoMaRinE. Let's go, baby, let us go. So we have our top three players, and we're here to crown our champion. We'll be starting things off, of course, to the upper bracket finals, leading that into lower bracket finals, into the grand finals thereafter. So we have 3 series tonight, 2 best of 5s and a best of 7 to end the evening, to end the tournament, to end HomeStory Cup. Let's go. Let us go. We are here, we are ready. Likewise, when it comes to the rest of the week, when it comes to the rest of the events, we do also still have our regular weekly tournaments scheduled and lined up. After we catch up with HomeStory Cup, we're going to be catching up with Little League Cup as well. So again, we got a lot of catching up to do. For now though, we're here to crown our HomeStory Cup champion. Of course, bearing in mind this was an offline LAN event over in Krefeld, Germany, and we are here covering the replays, catching up on otherwise missed matches. Traditionally, over the past couple of years, like 3, 4, 5 years, we have been the B stream for HomeStory Cup. We were unable to be the B stream this season. We were unavailable, so we missed out on the live broadcast of the event. That's why we're here after the fact with the replays. That's why we're here. But here we go. Going to be jumping into the first game of our first series. Going to be jumping into ShoWTimE versus Clem. Game 1 is going to be on Tourmaline. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. As we are stepping into our best of 5. Just catching up. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. We go, and stepping into this Clem, he is the heavy favorites coming into this tournament. Again, he he does have the best TVP in the world. See him go toe-to-toe against players like Classic, like Hero, like MaxPax, like ShoWTimE, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can bring him down. I will say that making it all the way to the finals is already an amazing feat from ShoWTimE to make it through this far, and we'll see how he compares to Clem. We have seen these two go back and forth in the past, that is true, but alas, Clem is still a beast. He's still a titan. He's still, I would say, the best Terran player in the world, and not an easy one to bring down. Let's go. Let us go. For the time being though, we do have our openers. Economic opener here out of Clem, going for a single gas, going for a Rax expand. Likewise, ShoWTimE going for a standard opener himself. Now, based on the previous series that ShoWTimE did showcase when it came to his match versus HeRoMaRinE, ShoWTimE, he was very mid to late game oriented. We saw a lot more defensive play. We saw a lot more, again, like 3-4 base play as well. I bring that up. I don't know if that's really going to be applicable here, at least for game 1. I'm not privy to the vetoes. We'll get to that point eventually. But Tourmaline is known for shorter games. Small map, short rush distance by ground, very open expansions. Aggression is favored here. It goes both ways for both the Protoss and the Terran. That aggression is going to be hitting that much harder and that much faster, and we'll see how our players do open up aggressively. That's the scary thing about Clem. I was mentioning briefly here about Clem, you know, his accolades in TVP and his strengths and his again, his dominance in said matchup. He's a very diverse player, very diverse. Clem, he is willing to play like Maru, for example, and turtle up, be defensive, and embrace the late game. Like, he is more than happy to. At the same time, though, if Clem sees an opening, he's more than happy to proxy and go for a proxy starport into a Hellion drop, to go for a proxy proxy racks into proxy Marauder, for example, to cheese things up, to go into a 2-base all-in. Clem is very diverse in TVP, and he can be a hard one to read. Again, it's going to be on ShoWTimE to confirm what exactly Clem is up to. First things first, it's going to be Zealot first into the Adept. The goal here is to delay the CC. The Zealot has arrived and looks like just barely will arrive in time to delay that command center. And again, there's something you can achieve specifically on these smaller maps. Because the rush distance by ground is so short, you can get away with this. On larger maps, the Zealot would arrive a little bit too late, and higher chance that CC will finish in time. For now, though, came to the low grounds. Again, the goal isn't to cancel, the goal is just to delay. Just to delay until the Cyclone arrives. So the Cyclone is on the way. Behind this, ooh, do you see what I see? That is a second Rax, not a starport. So there's a higher chance that Clem throws down a third Rax. Yep, there it is. So 3-1-1, third Rax before starport. What does this mean? This means a prioritization of Marine production, prioritization of stim, of that stim timing, of the bio army, and this can lead into a 2-base all-in, which is kind of what we expect on Tourmaline. Now, it's a little bit too early to confirm a 2-base all-in. If we skip the starport entirely, then you can just pull the boys and send it. Otherwise, you can get a starport, go for your medevac timing instead, and still expand behind it. It's still an aggressive timing, of course, but it would be less all-in. You know, the Cyclone did zone away the Adept. With that, the CC is on the way. Checking ShoWTimE's vision, he did shade up the ramp, but you can see here, did not scout behind the initial wall. Doesn't exactly know what's going on. Did see the add-on swap. True. Is where the add-on swap at least. Behind this was 2-gate. But greedy. Oh, a 2-gate blink into a robo into a third. Okay, a pretty greedy start here from ShoWTimE. I mean, I say greedy. He did go for the robo at least. True. Went for the robo before the expansion. So, not as greedy as otherwise could have been. And we'll see if he can keep up. He's going to have minimal stalkers to work with, unfortunately. But he will have detection. He'll have vision. He'll have the observer. And potentially defensive immortals as well, if need be. Meanwhile, there's a starport. So starport's on the way. Again, now there's a higher chance that Clem does expand behind this, but it's still building up towards that stim timing. Upgrades are almost done. Stim is on the way. Combat shields is on the way. +1 attack is on the way. Upgrades are coming. SCV scouts. SCV confirms the third base timing. So with that, Clem, he's now aware that this was an earlier third nexus. That should prompt him to move out. And that should prompt him. Observer likewise should be able to spot the move out as well. So Observer does step by. Slips into the main, gets eyes on the full production line. And is aware of the medevacs, is aware of the timing. We can see ShoWTimE moving out ahead of time. The goal here is to delay. Ideally pick off the medevac, but otherwise pick off some Marines, force a stim. Clem does give chase. Adepts they shade into the mineral line. Okay. They shade in, they get 2. They're gonna pick off 2 SCVs. Can we get 3? Barely can, so 3 SCVs go down. It's an okay damage, but Clem is not stopping, he's not slowing down, he's still pushing out across the map. Medevacs have arrived, stim is done, and +1 will finish in the middle of the fight. And we'll finish up in time. Oh! Ooh, Cyclone barely survives, and here's the stim. Okay, the army does rush forward. Ooh. Force is going to be zoning it back. There's the battery. There's the second battery on the way. But the army's just zoned away from the natural. And again, better concave for Clem. We spoke about this earlier, but this map is just so open at the natural. Depowers the robo as well. This is becoming too much. Depowers the robo, takes down one of the gateways. There's only 1 gateway left. Remember, it was 2-gate blink. Thankfully, you have 2 more in the main, so 3 gates in total. but the army still rushes forward. There was no defensive immortal, and with that, ShoWTimE is being broken. Yeah, he's being broken. He will lose every single unit here as Clem just rallies across the map. ShoWTimE just a little bit too greedy here. The batteries were thrown down, that is true, but it was not good enough. And with that, Clem, he just snowballs out of control. He breaks the main army, pushing into the third base. Oof. We're down to one stalker, Pappy. GG gets called, and Clem takes the lead in the series 1-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, these early sim timings, they hit so hard on Tourmaline. Again, ShoWTimE winding it back, he did choose to go for a greedier build. That's why he had a smaller army. He also chose not to get a safety immortal either, despite scouting the main. Remember, he saw the main base with the observer, he saw what was coming his way, but he didn't have any robot production. Again, he was more concerned about getting his third base up and running and getting it saturated and protecting the third base, but really that was a bait. And it isn't just about, you know, greed on Tourmaline, it isn't just about cutting corners, but also, as we try to emphasize, the area and the entrance to the natural and to the third are very open. So it's easier as the aggressing player to get your concave up, to be able to spread out your units and get as much DPS out of them as possible, as opposed to on maps that have a choke point, which limits your units moving in and limits the amount of units that actually be attacking at a time. So that can be more limiting on other maps, not on Tourmaline. Not on Tourmaline, but GG, well played. With that, Clem, he does take the lead in the series, and we are going to be following Clem and ShoWTimE into game number 2, into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. Whew, and again, a really fast, really swift game number 1, but we should be slowing things down here coming to game number 2. Going to be loading into a larger map. There's a lot to get into. Spawning in the right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back. Representing Sentinels, it is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Here we go. Here we go, as we are going to be settling in. So we're going to be calming down. And again, welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is a larger map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, has a more defendable natural. As you can see here, we spoke about the entrances, we spoke about the choke points. There is a ramp coming into the natural, so this area can be force fielded, or the defending army can have a greater concave against the aggressing army instead, so it is much more difficult to engage into. I will say though that the third base is more open. You can see here a much larger ramp, a much wider entrance is available, multiple entrances as well, so the third base can be a little bit more difficult. The fourth base is very difficult though. Again, it's very open, very exposed. We have seen many players struggle to defend that fourth. But the game should not end anywhere near as quickly here in game number 2. But we'll see. We'll see. For now, economic opener. Once again, single gas into the CC on the low ground. Last game, we saw that this command center was delayed by the early zealots and by the adept. This time, you can see that ShoWTimE isn't making a zealot, just because from here, like, it would just take too long to get across the map. It would not quite be as worth it. So from here, we're settling in. I would say at this point, there's a lower chance that Clem goes for a second Rax. There's a higher chance he goes for a 1-1-1 instead. Eyes wrong, Clem. Does open Rax, factory into the early tech lab. This should lead into an add-on swap into early Cyclone. We can see Clem scouting for proxies. Hello, ShoWTimE. As he does hide his probe here on the south side of the map. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener, that is true, but ShoWTimE, you have our attention here. Are we planning to go for a proxy? What's going on? Bearing in mind he did not probe scouts. There's the add-on swap into Cyclone. So far, the opener for Clem has been the same 2 games in a row. Of course, a cleaner opener this time because the CC is left untouched. No shot we're going proxy Dark. If it was gonna be Dark Shrine, there'd already be Pylon. The other option. No, okay, never mind. I mean, sure, I guess. See, I'm just used to seeing the Dark Shrine proxied. Here we just have the Dark Shrine at home, and we just proxy the Pylon afterwards. Okay, fair enough. There's a higher chance that this Darkshrine gets scouted, but so far ShoWTimE, he was able to fully wall off the Reaper cliff here coming into the main base. He has his units here at the natural, so there's actually no way for Reaper to scout. There's a chance that maybe there's a scan, but for the time being, Clem is in the dark. Okay. Now, when it comes to DT rushes like this in this matchup, it's very risky. It's high risk, high reward. Essentially, scans are available, true, and if a scan is available, you can just scan, you can kill the DT, and that's just it. You're fine as a Terran player. But the problem is that you have no reason to hold on to a scan. At this stage of the game, you're going to be muling as hard as possible, and depending on how this lines up, if the DT walks in and if Clem mules just as the DT does arrive, and if he has zero energy, that's just game. Like the game can just end. We have seen many top Terran players just insta GG when DTs arrive if they mule at the wrong moment. Another factor here is that it's not uncommon to see Raven-based openers for Raven Auto Turret Harass after a mine drop, but we can see it was Cyclone into Cloak Banshee. There is production available here to make a Raven, but so far there's no Ravens in sight, just Banshees. Here comes the Dark Templar, waddling on in, and we have a scan in the natural. There is a scan. And so far no mule. DT waddles in. Oh, he notices! Yeah. Keen eyes there by Clem. He does notice a shimmer. There's a scan. DT gets locked in, and DT gets 3 SCV kills as we have a second DT in the natural. But there's a second scan. 6 SCVs. Not bad. Not bad. Catching out 6 workers. DT will not escape. 6 workers for 2 Dark Templar. I mean, ideally you want more damage. Ideally you do want more value out of your Dark Templar. Essentially they killed 3 workers each. It's okay. Technically they also spent 2 scans. True. Like 2 scans were spent, and now we have a Raven on the way, and they were able to scout as well. Cloak, did it finish researching? It did. So this does disrupt the build. Some inadvertent damage was dealt. Basically Clem, as the Banshees, they barely get away. But if you remember, we had the tech lab on the starport making Banshees. Ideally this was meant to be 2. It was meant to be 2 Banshees, but as you can see here, we had to switch into the earlier Raven for constant detection. On top of that, Banshee got scattered, so that means there's less of a chance for the Cloak Banshee to deal some damage across the map. ShoWTimE, he's in position. He's got his battery in the main, a battery at the natural. He's fine. So it wasn't just the Dark Templar dealing economic damage, but it was also the Dark Templar forcing inefficiencies out of the build of Clem. So we have a back and forth. Behind this, Clem going to his YA follow-up, getting to Sim, combat shields +1. But we are getting into the mid-game this time. There we go. How many shows today? It's the 3rd time I've seen ShoWTimE today. I mean, there's it's a very busy period in StarCraft for sure, because there's Pigsty and Wardy TV, the Wardy TV's Winter Championship, I think. But they've been like kind of overlapping with each other, and then we have RSL starting this week. So Pigsty is going on, the Wardy Championship is going on, RSL is starting this week as well. Maybe they always see Rising events like this. This is a lot. Meanwhile, Stalkers get into the main, not bad. You're getting 5, 6, 7, a second 7 SCV kills, not bad. Does recall back home, and Clem, he commits. Clem, he's committed, the boys are being pulled. Clem, he's 2 base all in. He's completely all in at this point, and charge is not yet done. Clem, he could pull this off. There are a couple of force fields available. Shows those force fields. Army Sims in, nice auto turret. Takes down the sentries. There's not enough. Wow, there's not enough here. ShoWTimE, he did a lot of economic damage across the map, but ShoWTimE, he does not have enough to defend. Yeah, not enough to survive. DTs, that don't help here either. That also delayed the tech. And Clem, he stims, and he wins. He stims, and he wins. He breaks down the front door, pushing into the natural. Ay. And there's just nothing here to defend. Robo's depowered. The bait did finish, but there's no Colossus. We're backing up a couple of Zealots here, but they're Medivacs. They're Medivacs, we can sustain these stims. Zealots go down. And Clemmy breaks through the natural, now pushing up into the main. That is a lot of Stalkers. True. There's a lot of Stalkers banking up in the main base as well. +1 is going to finish up. just barely. Jesus, that was close. Yeah, it does barely finish, but the Bio Army trades so efficiently here. The boys are being pulled. Every probe goes down. We have a Zealot Warp in, but this is already critical damage. Already critical damage. The Mine Shot. Oof. Mine Shot gets baited. Dragging the army into another Widow Mine. Catching a Stalker. And Clem is just rallying. Clem is just rallying across the map. He knows that he has enough. He has broken ShoWTimE. GG gets called, and Clem, he'll take a lead in the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Clem. He'll take a 2-0 lead in the series. Against ShoWTimE, he had a shaky start. I mean, the DTs dealt some damage, right? They did kind of shake off the build of Clem. That's what we're trying to emphasize. They killed some SCVs, but they also kind of forced some inefficiencies out of Clem. The Banshee Harass didn't really do anything. But that's also why a 2-base all-in makes the most sense, right? Clem, his build was thrown off. His build was shaky. His opponent's tech was late. Because you went into DTs, that means your Twilight Council upgrades are delayed, your tech is delayed, your splash damage is delayed. As you saw, the Bay did finish towards the end of the game, and Charge finished as the fight was happening, but he needed more time to really build up into that mid game. So ShoWTimE was vulnerable, and Clem, he's like, you know what? Just pull the boys. Let's just send it across the map up. And again, there was a window in time where ShoWTimE was vulnerable because of the Dark Templar, right? Because of those DTs. GG, well played. With that, ShoWTimE, he was cool with his pants down, and with that, we are now getting to game number 3. Now I'm hoping for a back and forth. I'm hoping for some more longer games, actually. Like, so far we've seen nothing but all-ins. It's just, yeah. To be fair, game 1 wasn't necessarily an all-in. Like, game 1 was a very strong timing, but Clem could expand behind it. Here in game 2 was a straight up all-in, but these have been really short games. Hoping for a little bit more here out of our players, but the pressure is on. The pressure is on. Here we go. We're going to be loading into White Rabbits, a much larger map in the map pool, more bases, a longer rush distance, more distance between the bases as well. We'll get into it. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Sentinels down in the series. Can he bounce back? And can he make a series out of this? It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Lem. Let's go. Let us go. And again, last game, the game did last a little bit longer than game 1. True, we got up to, I mean, at least ShoWTimE got up to proper 3-base saturation, but he was cut down before he could really embrace his tech, before he could get into his charge lots, before he could get into his splash damage. And ShoWTimE was cut down. Coming into White Rabbits, can ShoWTimE get into a longer game? Do we go for a safer build this time? Do we go 3-gate blink, robo, and then a 3rd base? I mean, the problem is that this is a larger map. I would still want to see an economic build out of ShoWTimE. We'll see. Oh. I saw that. Clem, he set, I believe he set a camera hockey location here, but we'll see if that meant anything. For now though, going for a Rax Expand. Once again, standard opener here, economic start by Clem. Has not deviated, has not gone double gas at all this series, not yet. As from here, he will expand. And this should lead into said factory follow-up. Now, every game we've seen Rax into Tech Lab, into Factory, into Add-on Swap, into Cyclone play. We'll see if an SCV gets sent across the map. If we do make use of this area, this would be a prime location for a proxy starport, potentially. Hello. Yeah, so he did set the camera up there. Happy, we noticed. Yeah, there it is, there it is. So again, at the start of the game, he set his camera hockey location here, and I was like, does that mean anything? It does. So it does look like a proxy starport. Looks like a proxy starport here by Clem, going for his 1-1-1. This time, if you notice, that is not a tech lab, that is a reactor. For the first time this series, a reactor, not a tech lab. This will be for an add-on swap into reactored Hellion, into what should be a Hellion drop. Now, I might be getting ahead of myself. This might be a starport into Liberator instead. Technically, Clem has options here, but proxy Liberator is very niche. It's very, very niche. There's that starport. It's on the way. ShoWTimE does back in. Oh, does back in. Will delay the CC. Not bad. Kills the building SCV, delays the command center. Damage is being done. A second depth does arrive as well. And more importantly, ShoWTimE, he doesn't scout the proxy, but he sees the Hellions. We pointed out earlier, game 1 and game 2, there were no Hellions at all at this stage of the game. There was a Cyclone. Remember, it was a tech lab into Cyclone. To go reactor to Hellion is a sign of things to come. So ShoWTimE, he should be getting ready. There we go, safety batteries on the way. ShoWTimE should be walling up here at the natural. He should be walling up. Seeing Hellions doesn't confirm Hellion drop, but it does confirm aggression. So you can see ShoWTimE is actually pulling everything together here at the natural. Now, even though it won't be a frontal assault, thankfully for ShoWTimE, the proxy isn't here outside of the main base. If the proxy was designed to go straight into the main, then ShoWTimE would be in trouble, but the medevac is designed to hit the natural, and ShoWTimE is relatively in position. He's here at the natural base. Oh, he was. Hellions, they drop in. 4 Hellions, they one-shot probes. So far, 3 probes go down. Ooh, medevac takes a lot of hits. Up, does barely unload in time. Oh, and more damage is being done. Oh god, oh god. No, 7, 9. 9 probe kills, 2 Hellions, they get away. We could have got an extra volley up there. The Hellions, they pull out. And so far, very nice damage here for Clem, killing 9 probes for only 2 Hellions. Oof. Ay. Clem, he pulls back. He has crippled the economy of ShoWTimE. Back at home, Clem, he's getting his own 3-1-1. And when behind, Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way. Now, based on Clem's vision here, he saw the researching Twilight Council. So I do like this decision. There's definitely like a method behind the madness here. It is a desperation move, that is true, but there's a much higher chance that Clem isn't ready for this. The reason for this is because Clem, with his Hellion drop, he scouted the bases. He saw the Robo, he saw the Gateway, he saw the researching Twilight Council. So the last thing on his mind is going to be DTs. Just because it's inefficient, right? It would be inefficient. Now, what concerns me is I believe the eBay did finish. There's no safety turret, thankfully. But once again, just like last game, scans may be available. Maybe. ShoWTimE is moving out. Diving into the main. Sniping the Cyclone, not bad. Cyclone got sniped. No scans are available yet. So, because they get behind the mineral line. Dark Shrine is done. Yeah, the Dark Shrine is complete. So far, Clem, he defends his main. And where there's Dark Templar, here they come. And where are the scans? Oh, where are the scans? There's one scan. Okay, there's one scan in the main. Does he mule? Does he mule? He's holding on. He's holding on to the scan. DT waddles in. Scans the main. Kills 1. I have those on one scan there. Yeah, only 1 scan available. GG gets called. There was only 1 scan. There were 3 Dark Templar. And ShoWTimE takes the win. GG. GG, well played. Unlike the previous game where there were 2 scans available, here there was only 1. Only 1 scan. That was the only form of detection. There was no Raven on the way. There was no setup for a Raven either. GG. GG, well played. And this kind of confirms or validates what we said in the previous game when we first saw the initial Dark Shrine in game 2. We were like, we have seen many a top Terran player just insta GG to this. Adding another to the list where Clem, he will join the likes of Maru and Cure and Bjorn and all the other top Terran players that have insta GGs here to Dark Templar. The Invisible Man is pretty good. It's pretty good. No detection. GG. Aye. But GG, well played. With that, we're getting to game number 4, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can take that momentum and make something of it here. Of course, that last game was very cheeky. As we mentioned, the reason, at least in my opinion, the reason why it worked so well is because we saw that it was delayed. It was a delayed Dark Shrine, which meant that Clem scattered the bases and he saw the research, so the last thing on his mind was going to be DTs. But we shouldn't be seeing that again this series. This is where we have to rely on something different. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is a ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran for Team Liquid. It is Clem. We going again. Clem, he had a nice start last game. He had a good start. He was able to get into the mineral line. He roasted up some probes, got 9 probe kills. It was good. It was great. But the Invisible Man is even better. The Invisible Man, they're crazy. As Clem, he's upset for the first time this series. Double gas opening here. So Clem, he's going to be delaying his CC. He's going for a faster factory and a faster starport as a result. This is going to be a much more tech heavy start. Technically, this can turn into a 1-base all-in, but Clem isn't really one to embrace that, and this isn't a really good map for it either. So just a tech heavy start. There we go. There's that factory. ShoWTimE, he doesn't confirm the follower. For all he knows, there could be a CC further back in the high ground. ShoWTimE does pull away. From here he pulls away. Again, I don't imagine he's going to go into a Dark Shrine 3 games in a row. It's already been 3 games in a row. It'd be a little bit too ambitious. So we're expecting an economic start, maybe even a safer start. We'll see. Adept does shade across the map. Reaper does slip in. Slips into the main, disrupting the economy. Might get a probe. Maybe one. Nah, not even. It's just laying some mining. Reaper does pull out. At the same time, Adept does threaten a shade. Back at home, there's Reaper Hellion amassing. And once they deal with the Adept, they can move out across the map. Oh, as he had to commit to shade. CC goes down. Oh, sorry, mentally. SCV goes down. So delays the command center. Behind this, Clem getting into zone 1-1-1. Reaper back into the main. Killing 2 probes. Oh my god, that should not have happened. Yeah, 2 probes go down and the Reaper even escapes. Ay. So nice damage here by Clem. Did invest into, I believe, only 2. Yeah, 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion, so not the biggest investment. Once again, diving into the mineral line. Killing more probes. This is getting out of hand. This is getting a little bit out of hand here. Thankfully, the battery is done. And then 4 workers fall. So 4 probes and an Adept. Reaper back in. A second gateway gets thrown down. So far, it's 2-gate blink. Confirms the research. It does confirm. Once again, checking for another Dark Shrine, checking for extra gateways. Clem does go for his follow-up drop. Okay, the aggression continues. ShoWTimE is being safe. We do see another gate on the way and the robo. So for the first time this series, it's going to be 3-gate blink and a robo on 2 bases into a much later third. So late 3rd base here for ShoWTimE. I don't know if it's necessary to be this safe on Winter Madness, I'll be honest, but I guess based on how the series has been progressing, he feels the need to be safer. I don't blame him. does poke in. Pokes in, pulls away. Again, doesn't commit, doesn't need to. More importantly though, what did Clem just do? He just checked for the third base timing. And the fact that there was no third tells Clem that, you're staying on a higher gateway count. Now, for all Clem knows, it could be 4 gate blink, right? It could be even more aggressive than what we're seeing. So Clem, he has to take a defensive stance. Getting a second tank. Stim is on the way, and you can see his tank is in position to cover his main. So he's defending his main base and his natural here from any kind of blink stalker aggression. Again, he doesn't know how high the gateway count is. So he's playing it safe. He just knows it's more than 2. ShoWTimE does threaten to dive into the main. Spots the tanks. Or spots the army. Ooh, as the observer does overextend. Observer goes down. This is going to be pretty fast stim. Sorry, pretty fast storm. I mean, stim is finishing up as well. But very fast Temple Archives rushing into storm. Storm before charge, so very fast splash damage here out of ShoWTimE. And he can even make use of this aggressively. He can even go for storm drops. So eyes are on ShoWTimE. Oh, you know, ShoWTimE, he does miss the move out. Does miss the drop. Uh-oh. If all goes well, Clem, he might even snipe the High Templar. ShoWTimE uses a spotted pylon, but so far he has missed the drop. Main army gets spotted. ShoWTimE is distracted. Drop comes in. Going for the mineral line. Delays mining. Mining is denied. Storm is coming in. Nice feedback of the medevac. Does get a sniper. Ooh, Storm on the main army as well. But he throws down 3 auto towers and he wants his High Templar. Gets 1. Yeah, 1 Templar goes down. Does spend 2 storms. That means there's no defensive storm here. There's only 1 storm. There should have been 3. No shot. Yeah, storms are wasted and Clemmy's done it. He has broken ShoWTimE. Ay. ShoWTimE, he was even going for a safe build. He even had storm ready. Oh my god, massive storm in the army. But imagine if he had 2 more storms here. 2 more storms would have been the difference of a defense or a death at the third. Or death of the third base. But again, he had to waste 2 storms here against the drop. And Clem's going for the kill. Clem is going for the kill, going for the throats. ShoWTimE just wanted to macro this series, by the way. Like, except for the games where he went DTs. But GG gets called, and Clem here overwhelms. Clem will claim the series 3-1. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE, he had the tools to defend. He had the tools. He went for a safer build, extra gateways, later third base. He had his High Templar. He had his storm banked up. But again, he had to waste his storms against a medevac drop. Against what? 4 Marines? Right? It was a medevac drop with 4 Marines and a Cyclone. Like, there wasn't really much there. But storms were being forced out. It was 2 storms at that natural base. And that means that the main army was that much more free to just snowball out of control. To break the expansion, to break through the main army. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem, he will claim the series. He will advance on to the grand finals. ShoWTimE gets knocked down to the lower bracket. But do not fret. Again, it is double elimination. It's double elimination here. ShoWTimE, he has his next opponent. It is going to be another best of 5, another TVP as well. But this time he's going to be going up against his own countryman. It's going to be German on German action here. It's going to be Big Gabe versus ShoWTimE. Let's go. So I'm just setting up. Yeah, GG, well played. Very quickly, just discussing that last game as well. I'm a little bit surprised by how short the series was, but it goes both ways. Like, Clem was hyper aggressive this series, 100%. Like, Clem, he was going for non-stop 2-base timings and 2-base all-ins. We did see that ShoWTimE was also meeting him with some of that aggression with the DT builds, right? Like game 2, going for the proxy, going into Dark Templar. Game 3, also being cheeky with his DTs as well. So ShoWTimE was also being more chaotic, but for the most part, more often than not, he was trying to macro out of it and didn't quite get there. Didn't quite get to embrace his 3-base economy. Almost did, but not quite. And with that, we're now getting into our fresh series here. It's going to be that low bracket finals. Here we go. Game 1 is going to be on Mothership. Oh my god. Okay. And spawning in the top right corner of Mothership, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom side of Mothership, we have the German Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Mouse. It is HeRoMaRinE. Let's go. Let us go. Now, I should emphasize as well, that last series was pretty fast. You know, that was less than an hour long best of 5. On average, best of 5s are around an hour. They're around an hour long. That was under an hour. It was like 30 minutes. So really short games, really fast series between Clem and ShoWTimE. I bring that up because I expect this to go the distance. If you were watching the previous TVPs with both ShoWTimE and with Gabe individually, we saw a lot of macro. We saw a lot of late game, we saw a lot of macro games as well. Things did slow down quite heavily. And we're expecting that here in this series. We're expecting a very different kind of TVP. But we'll see. For now, ShoWTimE does scouts. He's checking the left-hand side. He will find that Gabe is nowhere to be found. Welcome to Mothership. Mothership is a 3-player spawn map. And again, Mothership is one of the more vetoed maps in the map pool. There's a reason why we did not see Mothership last series. Like, it's it's rarer to see Mothership, but it's more common to see it in best of 5s, right? Like, there are less vetoes available to you, so, you know, it's a best of 5. We get to experience Mothership. To see it here in Game 1 is interesting. It might set the tone for the series. Mothership is very large map of the map pool, a lot of bases, a lot of space as well in the center, and we do often see a lot of late game on Mothership. We see a lot of late game. For now, economic opener. Ranks expand into a reactor, not a tech lab. Are we going into a 3cc? Are we going 3cc 3 racks? Okay, are we being greedy? Nah, okay. I mean, we are being greedy, but it is going for the factory follow-up instead. So going for his racks expand into factory. No early tech lab, no early cyclones, for example, and likewise no early Reaper Hellion. So still a pretty greedy build, as we are cutting corners, not playing safe. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE going to be opening up Stalker into Sentry, into Hallucination Scout across the map to get a read on what Gabe is up to. Opening up the doors. We're good. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Twilight Council opener. Twilight Council out of ShoWTimE. Oh, and ShoWTimE throws down extra gateways. That I was not expecting. ShoWTimE now scouts, now does confirm the 111. Is now aware of the later tech and the later starport. But it's playing very safe, building up to 3 gates. And we'll see if he expands or goes for the Robo. As we should be expanding. No, okay, no mind. There's the Robo. Okay, so just very safe. Very, very safe play here. 3-gate bling into the Robo, into a delayed third base. I mean, I may be a little bit influenced by the last series. Like, like again, Clem was hyper aggressive against ShoWTimE. And ShoWTimE, he never got to build up 3 bases. Like, it never happened. He never got to macro if that. So maybe a little bit scarred. Playing as safe as can be. Hallucination Scout is denied. Is going to be tank follow-up into Cloak Banshee. From here, Gabe is getting ready to move out. Bearing in mind this is going to be a vanilla Marine move out. What I mean by that, no stim, right? There's no stim, there's no upgrades, no combat shields, no +1. The backbone of Gabe's army are going to be tanks and banshees. Tank does siege. Can he catch a stray unit? ShoWTimE does face check. Ooh, he does check. Checks with the face. Has to pull away. Did take shots to the face there. At the same time, ShoWTimE is saturating back at home, building up his forge. Charges on the way as well. This time not rushing into splash damage. Oh. Okay, he does on siege. Once again, he attempts to move out. Oh. ShoWTimE gets a Marine, gets one, gets two. Gets 2 Marine kills. Banshees are coming for the flank, not bad. And they should get at least 1 Stalker. Oof. Barely not. Barely not, but again, HeRoMaRinE, he does make his way across the map. Big Gabe pushing further in. Ideally, he wants to take over the ramp. And we'll see if he can. Cyclone does get sniped. First tank sieges. Gabe pushing further in. He's rallying across the map as we speak. But I'm still not entirely convinced here that he has enough to break through. Oh my god, the tank shots are crazy though. The tank shots are popping up. Yeah, charge is not done. Yeah, the tanks a punished. Third tank has arrived and is getting a hand. This is very quickly. He's just snowballing out of control. Gabe is pushing further in. Now getting into the pylon. Stalkers, they can no longer engage. Not against 3 tanks. That's not going to happen. Yeah, not anymore. Takes down the gateways, depowers the production, depowers the tech. There's 2 gateways left. He can warp in 2 zealots at a time. Yeah, only 2. Gabe has done it. No shot. Again, and remember, this was not an all-in. Like, Gabe, he's expanding. There's a 3rd TC. Remember, he was getting stim, +1. Like, sorry, +1 over here. Like, upgrades are on the way. Expansions on the way. Like, this was not meant to kill. Jesus. Gabe, calm down. Ooh, yeah, massive tank shots, forcing a bit of friendly fire. Ooh, a lot of friendly fire. 2 tanks go down. Okay. ShoWTimE is holding. ShoWTimE is holding on, and Gabe overextended. He did not protect his tanks. And ShoWTimE survives. Whew, okay, ShoWTimE does survive. Again, Gabe, he did push a little bit too far into the natural base, which means he was exposed to the zealots, exposed to the flank. That could have been game. That was so close. But ShoWTimE is living. He's surviving. Now, as we settle into our game here, ShoWTimE didn't lose any probes. ShoWTimE's economy is still looking okay. It's okay. It's on a 3-base economy. 4th Nexus is on the way. What ShoWTimE did lose, though, was the Twilight Council and the Robo and extra gateways. Did lose a lot of production and tech. So he has to rebuild. Managed to take a lot of hits. Gabe does have momentum. He is ahead. He may not have killed, but remember, he has that later timing. Now we have stim. Gabe has stim. Does get back. Shows some mind shots. Oof. And mind shots popping up. But that's still a sea of zealots chasing Gabe down. And Gabe, he cannot push into that. Load into so many charge lots. ShoWTimE is holding. ShoWTimE, he is holding on. Gabe, he has to back off. 4th CC is on the way. Now, there's still a massive window in time here before ShoWTimE has splash damage, because he did lose his robo, so everything's been delayed. Gabe can punish that as he moves out. ZealRunby is getting ready for him to move in. Takes off a massive chunk of zealots. The Runby gets activated. You know what, Gabe, he does kill the 4th. 4th base goes down. Zealots, they do get into the mineral line, catching up 5 SCVs. 6 SCV kills. Oh, at the same time, Gabe has to be careful. He has to respect those charge slots. Once again, he has to kite back. And he's trading well for himself. Yeah, picking up every single zealot. Now he can give chase with the sentries. Stalkers as well. Yeah, gets both sentries. And a stalker. Colossus has arrived. And again, ShoWTimE is barely holding on, but now we have reinforcements that he can chase. There he can dive. He stims and he wins. He will catch the Colossus. He cannot get away. Colossus goes down. And ShoWTimE, he has nothing left. He has nothing left. Again, he took a lot of losses early on. And that didn't translate into an immediate win, but Gabe, he had enough of a lead. He had that lead. Okay, pulling back. ShoWTimE just struggling to hold on. He's trying, baby. He's trying. He's got a Colossus. He's got a couple of force fields, a couple of charge lots. Oh god, there's so many Marauders. Now, Gabe still has to respect the army. He is up heavily in army supply, but still just taking it slow, calming down, claiming his fourth base, getting further ahead. Gabe, he has yet to confirm the fourth base location, but that should be his next target. Now he spots. He knows. Okay, now he's aware. ShoWTimE, can he stabilize? Oh, I'm getting deja vu. I just... we've been casting a lot of Gabe throughout the course of HomeStory Cup, and if you remember, there was a time where Gabe, he just kind of brute forced the issue, and he refused to make Ghost, and he refused to tech up, and he was stuck with a very mid-tier composition. Thankfully, I see an academy. I see a Ghost Academy. He's teching. Let's go. And my shot pops up. Again, Gabe, he's maxed out, so he doesn't have the entirety of his army here, but he has enough. He has enough to bully. Stimming on forward, they'll snipe the Colossus. There's 2 Colossus left. There's 2 remaining. Nice swipes though, very nice force fields. ShoWTimE just getting as much value as he can out of the Colossus. Mine shots are denied. As Vikings are rallying in. Yeah, going for that second Colossus, and they'll be able to get it. Yeah, with that, the main army has been broken. There's no more buffer. Takes on both Colossi, and with that, GG gets called. HeRoMaRinE will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A strong start there from Big Gabe, winding it back. Remember, Gabe, he did go for the early move outs. Pre-stim, pre-combat shields. He did push with Marines, a couple of tanks. It was 3 tanks in total and a couple of Banshees, and he was able to wedge himself in between the natural and third base and catch ShoWTimE with his pants down, getting on top of the tech, getting on top of the production, and the game almost ended then and there. That did give Gabe a massive lead, and that's why Gabe was looking very comfortable when it comes to the second push and the second wave, because ShoWTimE lost so much trying and failing to defend. I say failing, he survived the move out, he survived the push, but he lost so much in the process. He lost his army, he lost his tech, his production, lost everything. GG, well played. From there, it was smooth sailings from HeRoMaRinE, and now we're getting to game number 2. ShoWTimE, he just wants the macro. He just can't quite get there. Now, without taking some hefty losses, and we'll see if that changes here as we load into Tourmaline. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels down in the series. Can he bounce back? It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the red Terran player, the German Terran representing Mals. It is HeRoMaRinE. Okay, we're looking. Lucky and Pappy is, oh, okay, for the first time this series, double gas opener out of Gabe, going for a faster factory, going for a more tech-heavy start from our blue Terran player. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE just going for a standard opener, and welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is a smaller map of the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground, aggression is heavily favored here. We saw that Clem was able to strike ShoWTimE and knock him down very early, very quickly on this map in their series. We'll see if Gabe does something similar. I mean, so far he can't. I mean, he's already adjusting his build. Show us what you got. As again, we're expecting aggression. We're expecting chaos. But now factory is going to be on the way. Once again, a little bit further back to make it difficult to scout. We can see that ShoWTimE is not going for the early probe scouts. Going gate expanded to Cybercore. And from here, we'll see if ShoWTimE does deviate. We've yet to see an experience like a Stargate opener or a Robo opener. It has been Twilight Council every game so far, even against Clem. And once again, Twilight Council out of ShoWTimE. I mean, it's a very versatile opener. True. Is versatile. Reaper picks in. We have more Reaper Hellion amassing, at least initially. As Gabe does pull out. Does pull away. Looks like he's going to be investing into an extra wave. Okay, so he's going to be going triple Reaper, double Hellion. This is a bigger investment. The goal here for Gabe is to get into a mineral line, is to rush past the army, maybe kill an adept and get into that mineral line. He's still waiting for his next wave. Oh, never mind. Reapers, they already go in. Yeah, they're heading to the natural. They distract, sniping one. One probe goes down. Hellion is deflected. So far, an okay start. So we have the third Reaper and the second Hellion. They have now arrived. And Gabe, does he get into the main base? What's the plan here? Once again, splits up his army. Reapers, they deflect the adept. Gonna be forced out. Hellions, they don't quite make their way in. They do scout the Robo at least, and more importantly, we're at least containing, right? Gabe, he's containing ShoWTimE on 2 bases. Delaying the third. Is going to be 3-gate. Okay, so 3-gate blink into a Robo as well. Very safe play out of ShoWTimE. Very safe. Same build we saw last game, actually. Same build. Well, Gabe did get into a starport, going for his mine drop at the same time, and we'll see if Gabe can distract ShoWTimE. Can he find damage? This is a big investment so far. Again, the Reaper Hellion, the Widow Mines, just looking for damage. Ooh, losing one Reaper so far. Mine drop into the main base. ShoWTimE does react. It does react, does pull away. Oof. Meanwhile, Gabe does catch a Stalker. But will not get out. Yeah, it does not get out. We'll lose both mines. ShoWTimE counterattacking. ShoWTimE got a Warp Prism. Okay. That means he can start to warp in. He can be aggressive across the map. As he's moving out. At the same time, Hellions, they dive in. They can 2-shot. So far, getting 2. 3. Probes go down. ShoWTimE, he has blink. He can dive into the main. So far, there's only 1 tank. It's just the 1 defensive tank. Second tank arrives. Just in time. Oh my god, goes to the blink. Tank punishes. Raven barely pulls away. Yeah, massive tank shots here on the Stalkers. And Gabe holds. He holds onto his main base. Zones away ShoWTimE when behind Dark Shrine. We've been here before. DTs are on the way. They have potential. Not again. Not again. Was the one game that ShoWTimE won against Clem last series was the one game that he was able to slip out some DTs and force the instant GG out of Clem. Can he do it here against Gabe? Oh, the problem is that Gabe already has a Raven. Oh no, switch it in. Oh, Jesus. Keep it alive, Pappy. Be careful. Okay, he's fine. But that's the difference here is that in Clem's games, he never had a safety Raven. He had always gone Banshee or gone into drop play. Here, Gabe, he has stationary detection or mobile detection. That Raven. ShoWTimE breaks in. Breaks in, pulls away, claiming his fourth base. DTs, they've yet to really pull the trigger. I mean, there's no need to. Right now would be a waste. And there's at least potential for damage with the Dark Templar. There's potential. And for the first time this broadcast, ShoWTimE, he's saturating his third, and he's getting a fourth. Fourth base is on the way. Let's go. DTs are deuced by. They attempt to. Gabe out of position. DT rolling into the natural. Rolling into the main base as well. Things are getting chaotic here. SCVs are going down. There's the first scan. ShoWTimE. Oh no, he gets away. ShoWTimE, he does barely get away. Gabe, he commits. Yeah, he commits across the map. That's where his Raven is. Does deny the fourth base. Scan into the natural. There's still a Dark Templar in the main. And at the third base is denied as well. And we just collapsed on the army. Catch out the tanks. Oh my god, and Gabe is falling apart. Yeah, he's being torn apart here. Gabe had a good start, not gonna lie. Things were not looking bad at all, but again, he's just being caught out completely. Yeah, losing full medivacs as well. Oh my god, losing everything. Not a single unit gets away. Ay. Gabe, he denied the fourth base. That's great and all, but he lost the entirety of the army, and Gabe still doesn't have a third. The Invisible Man, they strike again. Yeah, they're allowing here for ShoWTimE to gain map control to contain the Terran. Gabe, he's stuck on two bases. Oh my god, blinking forward. It's time for one of the medivacs. I'll say one shot to the face. But in the wing condition for ShoWTimE, just contain. Just contain. Just delay the third for as long as possible. And this is just benefiting the Protoss for so much. For so much. Hola, papi, pura vida. Ah, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Buenas noches, papi. Buenas noches. ShoWTimE has momentum. He has that 30 supply lead. Collapsing on Gabe. Mine shots. They connect. Forcing a bit of friendly fire. And ShoWTimE plays it safe. Plays it safe, pulls away. Behind this, we got Colossus massing up. The Colossi are coming. And the problem here is that Gabe, he can't really afford Vikings at the moment. Because his third base is so delayed, he has a lot of catching up to do. Gabe is catching up. ShoWTimE still looking comfortable. As the Prism does sit by. This time dropping in Zealots. No major damage here, but ShoWTimE does preserve the Prism. Does recall back home. Recall some time. As soon as game moves out the Raven here comes. Oh, the Raven here comes to DTs. That's easy timing. Yeah. As soon as the Raven moved out the DT, they did strike. It was brutal. Likewise, limited scans. And ShoWTimE is maxing. ShoWTimE is maxing out. He has 2 Colossi, not too many, getting a second Robo, building up more splash damage. Again, there are no Vikings. The first 2 Vikings are on the way. Oh my god. Okay. Nice snipe with the Widowine. Prism goes down. Jesus. The mine shots are solid. But here come the Colossus. The lasers, baby. Oh my god. Colossi, they move in. Massive swipes. And ShoWTimE is going for the kill. He's going for the throat. He's at 200 supply. He locks down the army. A couple of mine shots to connect. Couple of them to connect, but LAN, again, Gabe is being forced further back. He is slowly building up his Viking count, true. He's getting there, but now there's a 3rd Colossus. Soon to be 5, by the way. There's 2 more in production. 5 Colossus. Not like this. He's also getting to the mineral line. The Academy goes down. And ShoWTimE is snowballing out of control. Wasting the DPS here on the CC. So a bit of wasted DPS there from ShoWTimE. But he's still out trading. Takes down 11 ACVs. Oh, it could do with an extra warp in though. Again, you got to babysit your Colossus. It's very common for them to just be caught up on buildings, but GG gets called. The writing is on the wall, and ShoWTimE ties up the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We have a back and forth here. Once again, the invisible man, yeah, you can always count on them, as they didn't necessarily end the game, but they crippled Gabe, right? As Gabe moved out across the map, bam, we had a DT in the natural, DT in the third, and DT in the main. We had 3 Dark Templar, 1 for each base, and we saw that even with the scan, the DT survived as well, so we had critical damage, forcing the Terran player to be contained on 2 bases as well. Meanwhile, as we mentioned at the time, Gabe, sure, he killed the 4th base with his move out, but he got surrounded. He got surrounded and he lost everything, the entirety of the army. Not a single unit escaped, and that just gave so much momentum to ShoWTimE. So much momentum, he was able to gain map control, contain Gabe, and bully him from there. GG. GG, well played. With that, we have a tied 1-1 scoreline, and we're going to be loading into game number 3, going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let's go. And spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Terran player. The blue Terran representing Mouse. It is HeRoMaRinE. Here we go. And we almost got a macro game. We were praising, we were like, yo, ShoWTimE's getting a 4th, let's go. Then he lost the 4th base, and then Gabe lost his 3rd, so we're stuck in the mid game there. A little mid game aggression in game number 2, just before we could really build up and really lift the tech up. Technically ShoWTimE did max, but again, Gabe, he was 1 step behind and he was stumbling his way into a longer game state. But here we go. We're going to be loading into the Old Republic. Once again, a larger map in the map pool, larger compared to Tourmaline, so larger map, longer rush distance, a higher chance that we do slow things down and embrace the longer game. Not saying that that has to happen, but there's a higher chance that will. We'll see. We shall see. As now, this time we have Gabe going for a single gas, ranks expand, economic opener out of our Terran player. Remember last game it was double gas opener into a committed Reaper Hellion. Into Mine Drop. Not this time. This time we're calming down. Turning on the aircon. Was it? Again, it's been a very hot summer. Very hot summer. We're surviving. Oh, meanwhile, for the first time this series, do you see what I see? Not a Twilight Council, Stargate. For the first time, not just a series, but for the first time this broadcast. Not a Twilight Council opener, going for the Stargate, opening up Oracle, looking to gain some economic damage across the map, and then gain map control with, I would imagine, Phoenix production. Okay. The Oracle does move out. Behind this, we have Gabe going for his own 1-1-1 into early Tech Lab, add-on swap, early Cyclone production, so a relatively safe build here by Gabe. He's playing safe. Meanwhile, of course, Gabe has no idea what's going on. No SCV scout, no Reaper scout. It's very common, very common to not scout early on. But that means Gabe is unaware of what's coming his way. He's unaware about the Oracles. Again, this is a more niche build in TVP. Is much more niche. Gabe has the tools to defend with the Cyclone, but is he going to be in position? Cyclone is outside of the natural. 2 more Maxes on the way. Adepts threaten to dive. And do we commit in? He may just dive with everything. Yeah, he's going for it. He's going for the Cyclone. Okay. Gets a volley off, but alas, Gabe quick to respond. Quick to pull away. Saves the Cyclone. Pulls back in time. Meanwhile, second Oracle into the main. Cyclone can only be in one location at once. It's going to be 3 SCVs. 4, 5. And it's getting at hand. Yeah, 5, 6, 7 SCV kills. Getting up to 8. 8 SCVs go down, and the Oracle did actually recall in time. Yeah, just barely. Just barely, the Oracle did recall. ShoWTimE takes a lead. Again, 8 SCVs, saves his high-tech units behind this building of his Phoenixes, gaining map control, and going Phoenix, not Colossus, but Phoenix into Charge. Charge does come online a little bit faster. If he believes that Gabe is going for like a 2-base all-in or going for a 2-base push, then Charge is going to be more ideal. Speaking of, Gabe has sustained a lot of losses, and what is the plan from here? Do we try to macro out of this and get a 3rd base, or do we go into a 2-base all-in? Based on the eBay, it looks like Gabe wants to expand. This eBay is going to take a while to get into +1. We'll keep an eye on him. As Gabe, he's rallying, he commits across the map. He pulls the boys. Okay, it's just okay, never mind. I was like, eBay means upgrade, right? No, it's just there for show. It's just so the eBay was a fake out, so we pull the boys. 2-base all in by Gabe. This makes sense because he fell behind, right? He fell behind, he sustained too many losses, too much damage. It's all or nothing. Either he kills or he dies trying. And we spoke about this. Ideally, against the 2-base all in, you have Charge. Charge is done just in time. And here come the Zealots, they're warping in. But he needs extra warp-ins. There's 7 gateways, sorry, there's 8, and now 7. 7 gates, army commits in, nice lift on the tank. It does barely lift. Oracles are going ham, probes, the boys are being pulled. And Marines are being cleaned up. Yeah, Marines are being cleaned up here, there's barely any Marines left. The Zealots get on top of the tanks. And ShoWTimE holds. ShoWTimE, he holds, he defends, he cleans up the entirety of the army. Medivacs, they can barely get away. They say what they can. But GG gets called, the all-in fails, and ShoWTimE takes a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A cheeky build here by ShoWTimE, going for the Stargate, going for the Oracle. With that, ShoWTimE, he dealt critical damage. 9 SCVs went down, and because of so much economic damage, that forced the reaction out of Gabe, that forced the all-in. So he was forced into the all-in after sustaining all those losses. Unfortunately, as we mentioned, we saw that ShoWTimE wasn't being greedy. It is a little more standard to see Phoenix or Stargate into Phoenix into Colossus. And the problem with that is that it takes a while to get your Robo, to get your Bay, and to get your Colossus up and running. And once you have them, there's going to be, what, like 1 Colossus. That's why the boy pool is so good, because you can tank the swipes with your boys, with the SCVs, and then you can stim in and pounce on the Colossus. And you can kill. You can just straight up kill. So Gabe gambled. As we saw, there was no Colossus, it was charge instead, which is more ideal against this kind of all-in. GG. GG all played. So ShoWTimE read Gabe very, very well there. Did play it safe. And with that, ShoWTimE is 1 game away from claiming the series. Let's go. Let us go. As we are going to be loading into White Rabbit. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his hello. We have his opponent. We have the German it's proxy 2 racks. Let's go, let's go. We have the German Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Mal, sending out 1, sending out 2 SCVs. It is HeRoMaRinE. Let's go. Fun fact, if you remember, like coming into the series, I was like, okay, it should be different to the Clem matchup. We should be seeing some macro games. The answer is no. We have not seen a single macro game. We have not embraced a late game. I assumed we would on Mothership. Didn't happen, but we almost got there on Tourmaline, fun facts, and now we're here on White Rabbits. I was about to get into a small rant about like, oh, White Rabbit, known for macro, known for a lot of expansions, known for the mid to late game. Like, we'll get there. Nah. I'm not gonna get there. ShoWTimE, he does set up his own camera hotkey locations. He scouts, he checks, he confirms no racks. Single gas, the racks is missing. Something's wrong. ShoWTimE has to recheck the main. It is not uncommon for Terran players to hide their racks in the main base or at the natural or at the third base location. So it is not uncommon. And you can see, yep, ShoWTimE is checking the natural. You can see he's intentionally checking behind the mineral lines because fake outs do exist. We can see it's not fake, but ShoWTimE has to confirm. As Reapers are amassing, ShoWTimE's getting his safety zealots. The zealot is just designed to buy time and to minimize losses. It's just meant to like aggro the Reapers and tank for them, or tank for the probes. First Reaper, ooh, does take a shot to the face. And first Reaper takes a hit. And now ShoWTimE is aware. He's aware of the proxy. We have the safety battery on the way, going for the Stargate follow-up. Oh boy. I mean, this is going to work wonders here. It does cancel the shield battery. It does recognize it doesn't need it. Now, my concern here, we're a ways away from anti-air. Right now, it's proxy Reaper, no Marine. And we need a tech lab. We need a factory into tech lab into Cyclone. Hoping that we have a Cyclone follow-up here. As Gabe is stuck on 1 base. There's a natural. ShoWTimE has the faster base. On location. Now from here we should be seeing a tech lab into Cyclone production, but we saw something last game. Last game, yep, there it is, tech lab. Last game there was a Cyclone. Despite that, ShoWTimE, he still found damage with his oracles. One Cyclone can only be in so many places at once. ShoWTimE still has potential. I would say that Gabe has the tools to defend, but he hasn't scouted yet. He doesn't know. As Reapers, they attempt to dive. Oracles are moving out. And there should be a Cyclone defensively. And there will. As your Oracle breaks in, gets one, gets two SCVs, gets a full scout of the main, confirms both CCs, but doesn't get any critical damage. Again, the Cyclone was in position. Cyclone was ready. A second Cyclone on the way. Reapers, they scout the Oracle. Oh, so we're getting into triple Oracle? Jesus. Oh no. We're building up to triple Oracle, and we see Gabe moving up with the Cyclones back at home. What is it to defend? There's going to be one Viking. The DPS rate on a Viking is so low, though. It has such a low attack rate. Gabe is in danger. He's okay, does catch reinforcements. The Oracles, they commit. They're committing in. Remember, there's a third Oracle on the way, by the way. Yeah, third Oracle has arrived. It goes ham. 4 SCV kills, and we're going further into the main. And this is becoming critical damage here. Or it should. Getting up to 6, 7, 8 SCVs. We can see the Gabe races back home. That's going to be 11 SCV kills, and you can see the Viking does not get damage done here. One Oracle goes down. One Oracle for 11 SCVs. Not like this. Sorry, 2 Oracles. Okay, it's a little bit better. But bearing in mind the Gabe, he already had a rough start, right? It was already a failed proxy. Already failed proxy Reaper. Now into a delayed push with the stifled economy. Yeah, ShoWTimE is in position. He's getting his battery. Battery's on the way. Third base is a little bit delayed here for ShoWTimE. True. But I mean, he's ahead economically anyway. Like, there's no rush. As here comes the third. At the same time, the Oracle does go for the dive. Gets maybe one. Does he recall? Oh my god. Just barely. Just barely recalls in time. And ShoWTimE is being active. Blink will finish up by the time this army gets across the map. And again, Gabe, he is hurting. Gabe, he's down to 33 SCVs. Like, he doesn't really have much of an economy. Now, when it comes to the army supplies, Gabe actually has a lead himself. So the army supplies are actually favoring the Terran. But ShoWTimE doesn't have to kill. ShoWTimE, he has a third. He can just chill, he can expand. He can macro. Going for the Cyclones, gets one. A bit of miscontrol there by Gabe. Had a later reaction. As Gabe is distracted, up to shading to the mineral line. Oh no. Second Cyclone goes down. They lose both Cyclones. Then they bust into the mineral line, and that is game-ending damage. That is game-ending. That is critical damage here. Gabe is all in. He's all in. He's rushing across the map. Gabe, he will lose everything back at home. And either he kills ShoWTimE or he dies trying. He's gonna rally everything. He's got 27 Marines. There's a sim. Stim's in. Ooh, tank is exposed. Tank does go down. The stasis. Oh my god, massive stasis trap. He gets caught out as well, fighting with half his army. Only half. Yeah, ShoWTimE, he will just clean this up. Down to one Viking. Viking goes down, Medevac as well. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE, he will claim the series 3-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew, GG, well played. ShoWTimE, he will claim the series. Again, a very intense back and forth here. I was expecting that this series would be a little bit slower paced, would lead into the mid game, into the late game. Never happened. It never did happen. We got close on Tourmaline. We got close, but even then we saw that ShoWTimE had a lead from earlier in the game, and he was able to just capitalize on that and snowball into a win, denying the third base of Gabe with those Dark Templar. Of course, if you remember, the DTs were insane on Tourmaline. But even before that, even here, Gabe just had a really rough opener. He went for the Proxy Reaper and he did no damage. Like, we saw that ShoWTimE was playing safe, did make the early Zealots. He responded, reacted with the Stargate, with the Oracles, and he did devastating damage with those Oracles, and of course with the follow-up as well. In the end, the Proxy Reaper really set Gabe behind. Because of that, his factory was late, his CC was late, his 2-base saturation was late. It's like everything was heavily delayed because of the Proxy, and it wasn't worth it. Was not worth it. GG, well played. With that, we do have our top 2 players of HomeStory Cup. HeRoMaRinE, sorry, ShoWTimE, he takes down HeRoMaRinE. HeRoMaRinE, he gets knocked out. Now, I do want to give some credit to HeRoMaRinE, of course, though, because even though Gabe gets knocked out in the lower bracket finals, even though he makes it top 3, who did he surpass in this tournament? Raynor and Cyril. Raynor, he went down in the quarterfinals. Cyril went down in the semis. Gabe actually beat Cyril in the lower bracket semifinals. So Gabe, he did achieve so much here in this event. May have gone down to ShoWTimE, but ShoWTimE is arguably the best Protoss player in Europe, right? At least top 2 with max packs. Like ShoWTimE, you don't get better than ShoWTimE when it comes to European Protoss. So again, ShoWTimE, there's no shame in going down to him. He's a worthy opponent to fall to, and in the end, Gabe does end his run here in 3rd place. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to ShoWTimE, as ShoWTimE does advance on to face off against Clem in that rematch. Clem took down ShoWTimE earlier 3-1 in a 30-minute best of 5. Like, that was a really short series. That was a really short series, a really fast matchup in the upper bracket finals. We'll see if the grand finals makes up for that. We shall see. We shall see. For now, though, we're going to be cutting to a break. When we come back, we'll have the grand finals. We'll have that best of 7 between Clem and ShoWTimE. We'll have the rematch. We'll see you soon. See you soon after the break. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we returned. We returned here with the grand finals of the HomeStory Cup 28 Revelation Retake. Ay. It's been an intense week of StarCraft, catching up with the group stage, catching up with the playoffs, and we have finally made it to the top 2 players of the tournament. Coming into this event, I'll be honest, my eyes were on 2. My eyes were on Clem and on Cyril, but alas, Clem did make it through into the finals. Cyril, he got knocked out a little bit earlier. I mean, there were some other big heavy hitters as well, like HeRoMaRinE, like ShoWTimE as well. HeRoMaRinE got knocked out early. Cyril, he got knocked out by Gabe, and now we have ShoWTimE rising up through the ashes here. He went down earlier in the upper bracket finals, but ShoWTimE, he is back. He is here for revenge. He's back for a rematch, and we'll see how ShoWTimE has adjusted, how he's adapted, how he will adjust his approach coming up against Clem in that rematch grand finals. Let's go. It's gonna be a best of 7 here between ShoWTimE and Clem. Game 1 is gonna be on 10,000 feet. Ay, let's go, baby, let's go. So best of 7, less vetoes, more maps, and do we get to embrace the mid game? Again, we've had hyper aggression the entire broadcast, non-stop, all-ins, move-outs, timing attacks. We have not actually embraced the mid game. We've gotten up to 3-way saturation for at least one player, but we haven't had that mid-game back and forth. It just hasn't happened yet tonight. Not against Clem in the first series or against Gabe in the second series. What about the rematch against Clem, though? Can we experience that macro? We'll see. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is a ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. Bienvenidos. Here we go. We are here. We are back. And we have that rematch. Now, Clem, he was able to claim the previous series against ShoWTimE. That is true. But as we mentioned at the time, we saw some hyper-aggression. We saw a lot of all-ins, pulling the boys, timing attacks as well. We saw that Clem was very much so in the face of ShoWTimE time and time again. We'll see how that changes coming into this best of 7. If at all. As of now, we have our standard opener, Gate Expand at a ShoWTimE, going for his later Cybercore. All so far so good. Meanwhile, welcome to 10,000 feet for the first time this series. For the first time this broadcast, I meant to say. We have not experienced 10,000 feet until this very moment. 10,000 feet is one of the smaller maps in the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground. As a result, you can be more assertive, you can be more aggressive when it comes to your move outs, when it comes to your reinforcements. I will say that the base layout is very defensive. Your natural, your third, your fourth base are all very centralized, they're all very localized. It is easy to rotate defensively between your bases to keep up with army movement and to keep up with your opponent's aggressive posturing. That is true. So there are some defensive features when it comes to this map, but outside of that, we do see Clem going for the SCV scout, confirms the timing of the Nexus, and then pulls away. So light scouting there out of Clem, followed up by the Reaper. No Marine scout. Okay, so Clem is being very safe. He's being very safe here. When ranks expand, but he went for the SCV scout, and he also goes to the Reaper scout as well. It is common to delay and to skip all of this, and it's going to be worth it because Clem, he gets in, and he gets eyes on the text. Or does he? Ooh. Stalker does run away. It's going to be a Stargate, not a Twilight Council. Cheeky move out of ShoWTimE, and so far, Clem doesn't know. Clem has the Reaper. Dips into the main base. Oh! Jukes the jives. Does find a probe. He gets one probe killed, nice damage. Gets a probe, pulls away, but does not scout the main. Again, it is common, it is standard to see Twilight Council openers into Blink, but here it's going to be instead Stargate into Phoenixes, not even Oracle first. Bold move. Okay. So, when it comes to Phoenix openers, ShoWTimE is going to be vulnerable to early game all-ins and early game aggression. Thankfully for ShoWTimE, we do see a Widow Mine Drop follow-up. So it's going to be a Mine Drop instead, which means ShoWTimE is going to be banking up these Phoenixes and ideally able to catch the medevac, catch the Widow Mines without losing anything at home. Oh boy. As again, Clem is still playing blind. It's going to be a faster Twilight Council follow-up. Oh. That's actually quite fast. Wait, what? Only one Phoenix. Usually you bank up like 2, 3, 4 Phoenixes. You shut down the drop. But here, ShoWTimE is revealing his Phoenix intentionally. and going for a much earlier Twilight Council. Oh my god. Mind Shot goes off. With that, Clem, he's now aware that was a real Phoenix, so now he knows it was a Stargate opener, and the mind games. So in my mind here, ShoWTimE, he revealed the Phoenix for one reason. He's still making another, but I would imagine that he wants to try to bait Clem into a push early on. We'll see if he does. As ShoWTimE cancels he cancels the Phoenix. Does cancel. He's going for a very fast, very quick blink transition instead. I'm still on the fence about this. It still feels a little bit awkward. We'll see if it pans out. Come to Cypher Probe. Mind drop into the natural. Yeah, ShoWTimE, he was hoping he could deter any kind of drop play like this. Alright, gets one. Oh, Jesus. Nice retargeting. Gets a second probe. Lifts up, pulls away. Third probe goes down. He's gaining value. He's getting damage done despite the Phoenix. Ooh, medevac is going to fall though. Oh no, it does not get away. And it's cleaned up. As it sells 3 mines, correct? Yeah, 3 Widow mines and a medevac for 4 probes. Not the best trade here for Clem. A better defense for ShoWTimE. But again, this build from ShoWTimE, it just feels so awkward here. It's 3-gate blink into a later third base. But there's not many stalkers to work with here. I mean, I say that, never mind, there are 7 stalkers. Phoenix does provide high ground vision. Diving the reactor. The reactor is going to be saved. Nice auto stepping. He's running back the army. Meanwhile, big shout to Pecoeta in the chat. Gah, papiga, este Pecoeta. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 14 months, over a year of support. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Este Pecoeta. Oh. Ooh, that's a bit of an awkward defense here. Clem chasing down the stalkers. It does go for the dive. Medevac goes down. But these stalkers are so low. Clem, he wants to give chase. Stim is almost done. It's almost ready. Portals up the ramp. ShoWTimE does get the hell out of here. With the help of force fields and these sentries, ShoWTimE should be able to defend. The third base is getting up and running, and Clem is getting a third CC on location. For the first time between Clem and ShoWTimE, we're macroing up. Let's go. We're getting into the mid-game. Army sims in, does pick up the sentries, and did I speak too soon? He has too much. Yeah, he has too much. Stalkers are struggling. Thankfully, we do have some charge lots warping in. There's still 4 Widow mines, though. Oh my god. Yeah, brutal mine shots. Stalkers are still exposed. They're going down. Expensive losses here for ShoWTimE. And again, he's being broken. He's being broken. Sentry goes down as well. Thankfully, you have a massive warp in. Warping in 5 zealots at a time. Oh no! Ooh. Army gets punished. Jesus. Yeah, ShoWTimE punished for his blink. Clem is still rallying. He's still pushing. He knows how close he is to breaking ShoWTimE. With the extra warp in there. Oh my god. Yeah, line shots are crazy. But ShoWTimE is surviving. He's trying to, at least. So, mine shots are still popping up. Nice control here by Clem. Jesus. God, oh my god. But down goes the Widow Mine, and with that, ShoWTimE finally holds. He finally does hold on. Still bleeds out 3 more stalkers to 4 more stalkers. 5. Oh my god, 4 stalkers go down. Crazy focus firing there to Clem. He's crazy. Finally, he's going to be forced back, but again, Clem, he gains so much value there. Stalkers, you have to build them up over time. They're quite expensive. Zealots, they're more, I mean, you can be a little bit wasteful with them. Expendable. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, ShoWTimE does try to chase. Doesn't have much to work with. And Clem finally backs off. Like, again, that was very intense. And again, the game almost ended. The game almost ended then and there, but ShoWTimE barely does hold, barely does survive. Defends his third base, now claiming a fourth. At the same time, Clem is still not done. Clem still has a standing army. Zeller on the left-hand side, Stalkers on the right. We'll see if ShoWTimE can backstab. We'll see if he can distract and find some economic damage. Can he pull this off? Clem does threaten his Stim. As he does, Zels are activated. ShoWTimE ready for his run by. At the same time, Prism into the main, so a tri-pronged attack. Prism into the main base, Zels towards the third, and the main army in the center. Oh. So far, Clem keeps up with the drop. Zels strike that third. 8 SCV kills, not bad. Not bad damage. Okay, mending, but not bad nonetheless. Bearing in mind that ShoWTimE does get away with his Zealots, and he also gets away with the War Prism. Prism did survive. Liberator setting up here in the center. Which I believe, yeah, we can deny mining here from 3 patches. Oof, forcing the blink. ShoWTimE's building up his Colossi. And Clem is playing with fire. In a head-on fight, I do favor ShoWTimE. He has just a massive amount of Zealots. Where this army does struggle are choke points, right? Clem fighting with his SimCity, creating choke points and pulling back and reducing surface area. That is where Clem can excel. That's where he can excel. So then ShoWTimE still just building up. Building more Colossi, getting a 5th expansion. And again, for the first time tonight, we're actually getting into a macro game. Like, we didn't get this out of the first series between ShoWTimE and Clem. We didn't get this out of ShoWTimE and Gabe either. We just didn't get there. But we're there, Pat. Both players are maxing out. Clem is establishing his 4th base. Now, this is a really scary moment here. We have yet to really discuss kind of mid to late game TVP and how these kind of setups work. But the Terran player typically, if they get up to 4 bases on uncontested like this, they snowball out of control, they max out, and they start to accumulate their bank. ShoWTimE, the pressure's on the Protoss player here to deny some of these bases, but the problem is your 3 base setup is so secure here on 10,000 feet. Your 4 base setup even. ShoWTimE can't really do anything. The best he can hope for is to catch the army out into the open. Observer does follow the army. ShoWTimE coming in from behind. And Clem is out of position. And Clem is out of position. Marines getting called out. Nice pick ups here by ShoWTimE. Oh, as Clem is going to give chase. He'll catch the Colossus. Nice EMP. Gets 1, gets 2. If 2 Colossus go down, there's 1 Colossus left. Vikings, they will hunt it down as well. Yeah, massive pickups. No more splash damage. The Bio army just stims. He just stims in. GG gets called, and Clem, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, a very shaky game here from ShoWTimE, losing so much early on. Clem, again, we mentioned at the time, he almost ended the game when it came to his move out, when it came to his push. It was insane how many Stalkers he killed, just how much value he was gaining out of his push. It was crazy damage, crazy target firing as well. ShoWTimE barely held on there, I should say. He barely held on. He was able to get his 4th base, but ShoWTimE was playing from behind. He had some nice damage with the Zealots. He was able to kill 9 SCVs. Like, that was great, but he still needed more damage to delay the push, to disrupt the economy, to do something about the 4 basing Terran. We did mention at the time, but once the Terran player gets up to 4 bases, if there's no pressure from the Protoss, then they can just snowball out of control. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem takes a lead, and we'll see if Clem can extend that lead. We'll see if ShoWTimE can bring it back. go. So you're loading into game 2. Game 2 is going to be a Winter Madness. Here we go. Also, my apologies. I said that the finals is a best of 7. That was my understanding, but no, because of the double elimination, the grand finals are a best of 5 with a best of 3 rematch if ShoWTimE wins the series. So my apologies, but it is not a best of 7, best of 5. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss himself, the German Protoss, representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. Go, as we are going to be settling into game number 2 here. And again, as a reminder, this is a best of 5. The way this works, because it's double elimination, Clem technically has a life because he's coming in from the upper bracket. So if Clem were to lose this series, then we do have like a quote-unquote revive match, or we have one final series, a best of 3 to determine the winner. Meanwhile, if Clem wins, ShoWTimE already spent his life, if you recall. He already got knocked down in the upper bracket earlier to Clem, so that's why Clem really has to win 1 series. ShoWTimE has to win 2 series. Oh boy. There we go. Here we go. For the time being, economic opener out of Clem and going Rax expand. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE, what do we go for this time? Remember, in game 1, it was a Stargate opener. Went to the Stargate, went into the Oracle. Went Stargate, went Phoenix instead, but it was a really quirky build. Like, I'm still perplexed at what the hell just happened in the beginning of game 1 with ShoWTimE opening up single Phoenix into Blink. Like, it was crazy. Like, in my mind, I think the point there was to deter the Widowmine drop, but the Widowmine drop, he didn't care. Like, Clem went for it anyway. So it was just, yeah, it was an interesting start. Interesting, to say the least. Oh. Otherwise, again, we are just calming down. Oh, as we mix things up once again. So game 1 was a Stargate opener. Game 2, Robo opener at a ShoWTimE. Very interesting. Now, Robo openers can lead a couple of different ways. This can be Robo into Bay, into early Colossus, into Colossus drop even as well. So this could be a rush into Colossi. That'd be the more standard approach. The other approach technically is we can go into early Immortals and we can turn this into a 2-base all-in. Like Immortal, Prism, Warp in, Vanilla Gateway units, and just commit. I'm leaning more towards early Colossus. Technically, there is a build where you can open up Robo into Bay, into Warp Prison Speed, into Disruptor Drop. Disruptor Drops, it's been years since I've seen that at the highest level of play. It's been a long time. We used to see that from players like Nina, from players like Estrella, from even some of the Koreans as well would mix it in every now and then. But this would have been during the COVID era of StarCraft. Like, this would have been like 2021, 2022. Like, it's been a long time since that's like permeated throughout the scene. Colossus drops are also quite rare, but I would say that's a little bit more common compared to Disruptor drops nowadays, which is still uncommon as hell. Like, it's meanwhile, that is a Robo opener into a fast Twilight Council, so it is not Colossus. It's not a fast Bay, it's not a fast Colossus, but again, it's a very interesting start nonetheless, as it's going to be a late Twilight Council and late upgrades because of the earlier Robo. No shot we open like Twilight Council into Templar Archives into like Storm Drop or something, right? Like, no shot. Let him cook, baby. Let him cook. True. Okay, it's going to be early charge. So very fast charge timing, very fast charge timing here by ShoWTimE. This technically can lead into a 2-base all-in. Clem does break forward. Now, charge-based openers, and oh, it is going to be charged into Archon, into Temple Archives. Okay. This can still lead into early Storm. But these early charge builds, their goal is to shut down all-ins. If Clem were to move out early on with tanks, for example, which I believe he will, then ShoWTimE can potentially clean up and clean house and just shut Clem down. Early immortal production as well. Oh, no, never mind. Going for the prism. Prism before immortal. Clem spots the observer. That should already be a tell. So Clem is just chilling back at home, building up his stim, combat shields, +1. Building up into his stim timing. But when he does move out, Storm is going to be ready for it. ShoWTimE is setting up. Now, what's a little bit scary here is that Clem is working with a lot of incomplete information. Clem, he hasn't seen the main base. He's not really aware what's going on. He's unaware of the tech. He's unaware of the opener. He's playing blind, and he's pushing. And remember, ShoWTimE has defensive storm. Oh, speaking of, there's a storm drop. Yeah, it does go for the drop into the mineral line. 3 SCVs go down. There's one more storm. Yeah, there it is. Getting 6 SCVs. So early storm drop. One leads into the other. We have more HeRoMaRinE back at him to defend. And Clem, he's pushing. But again, there's, what, 3 defensive storms at least. It's not going to be easy. ShoWTimE as the flanking High Templar. Coming in for the flank. Ooh. Yeah, storms, they do zone away. Catching at the wooden mines. Sniping out both. Both wood mines go down at the same time. Drop into the mineral line though. ShoWTimE's out of position. Yeah, he's out of position. This is getting out of hand. Getting 7 probe kills already. 7 probes and gets up to 10. Oh my god. 10 probes go down and 2 stalkers. Crazy value there out of Clem. It does get some crazy value. Storms, I mean, sorry, ShoWTimE still has potential with those storms though. That's how, look at how many High Templar he has. 6 Templar. At least 6 storms. So that's 7 Templar moving in. 10 Morphin and Archon. So down to 5 High Templar. ShoWTimE does commit. Does move out. Here come those storms. And how well do they connect? Storms move in. Zoning back the army. There's 1, there's 2. There's what, 4 more left. There's a 3rd storm, the 4th. There's still 2. Oh my god, High Templar being focused down. Nice focus finding there out of Clem. Oh my god, what another storm lands. And that's it. That was the final storm. Oh my god. Again, takes a lot of damage from the storms. And ShoWTimE is breaking through. Oh god. ShoWTimE is close to breaking through. His army is still quite low. Boys being pulled to repair. SCVs are now going down. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for Clem. Clem needs a little bit more time. Oh god. As he gets caught out of the ramp, 17 SCV kills, another storm. Jesus. Another storm lands. ShoWTimE, has he done it? Has he done it? It's still close. He has dealt crippling economic damage, but he will lose the army. Yeah, the Marauders, they stim in, they focus on the Archons, the Stalkers as well. There's no High Templar, there's no Storm. And with that, ShoWTimE has to get the hell out of here. Now, if given time, ShoWTimE will outscale. Like, ShoWTimE, he has 65 probes, he has the better economy, he has High Templar gathering energy. Time is working in ShoWTimE's favor, as ShoWTimE even gets a 4th. Pressure's on Clem. Oh, he's taking gases. Spaghetti is taking gases. ShoWTimE is yet to take up his splash damage in towards Colossus. I would imagine we should be seeing that soon. Gets a free medevac. ShoWTime's looking like after the army has to protect the Zwittermine. Storms are going to be, and they're going to be coming in. Storms his own, losing 1 High Templar. Another storm lands. And the storms have been crazy. ShoWTimE does skim it in. Once again, though, he's out of storms. I will say that with all these zealots, ShoWTimE can still take a better fight out in the open. But he has to pick and choose his fights. Pulls back for now, gathering more energy. And Clem should back off. Just calm down, back up. 4 CCs on the way. Despite taking all that damage early on, Clem, he's stabilizing. He's stabilizing, getting his 4th base. Worker counter economy in favor of Clem. He has his mules. And ShoWTime's tech is late. The Colossus, I mean. The Colossus, which is coming. He needs more time. The armies, they pass by each other. Do we base trade or do we turn around? Clem turns around. Yeah, he turns around, he races back home. Nice storm in the mineral line. Jesus. Catching out 17 SCVs. Oh my god, every single SCV goes down. Again, Clem completely out of position. Clem is out of position. Nice EMPs. But Clem is all in at this point. He's all in. We gotta go. We gotta keep going. Where's the storm? Catching on more zealots. From there, ShoWTimE does back off and pulls away. ShoWTimE is going to be the first to max out. This time he's going to be incorporating more Colossus. He does have 1, it's going to be 2 Colossi. He's slowly rounding out this army. At the same time, so is Clem. Clem, he's building up his ghosts. EMPs, Viking count is still very low. Lower Viking count, he only has 1. So the Colossus, they can reign supreme, at least for a time. Storm does zone. Zones once again. Storm zones. ShoWTimE is maxed. He is maxed out on soon to be 3 Colossus. How many Vikings are there? Still only 3. Only 3 Vikings. It is a very heavy Marauder composition. Oh, nice mine shot. Jesus. Crazy mine connection. Storms are coming in. Oh my god. Storms, they force back the bio. A little bit cavalier towards the end. ShoWTimE, we're going to calm down. ShoWTimE peels off a couple of zealots into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. Okay, that's a lot of economic damage. Clem, he has no bank. It's one and done for Clem. But storms, they keep zoning him away. Nice EMP. Are there any storms left? 2. Okay, there's 2 at Templar. There's 2 at Templar here on the low ground. Zealots are wreaking havoc. Okay, there's 1 storm left. That's the final storm. Yeah, there's the final storm. Now Clem can engage. Oof, EMPs on the Archons. EMP on the Colossus as well. Vikings are going ham. And Clem, he takes the fight. Oh my god, very patient play here by Clem. He didn't wait out all the storms. Massive EMPs on everything. And ShoWTimE, he plummets in supply. He plummets in supply. Back at home, he's making 2 Colossus at a time. If given time, ShoWTimE can rebuild and remax. Clem, we gotta send it. We gotta send it here and now. We gotta go. Go, baby, go. Keep going. The scanner reveals no saturation. There's currently 4 High Templar. Sorry, 5. There's 3 on the ground, 2 in the War Prism. So 5 Templar in total. And now 3 Colossus. Does Clem have enough? Against 3 Colossus. Oh, Prism goes down. Prism gets sniped. I'll land 2 storms. Clem does catch the Archon. More High Templar coming in. In total, those are the only 3 Templar. It's currently 2, soon to be 3 storms. I mean, we're building up to 4 Colossus. Jesus, that's a lot of Colossi. Once again, this does come down to EMPs. He has to pull away. He himself only has 3 ghosts. Wow, and ShoWTimE holds. ShoWTimE holds on. Remember, there was a time here where Clem, he was up 30 supply. But ShoWTimE, he was able to buy enough time to hold on, to rebuild his army. Despite ShoWTimE getting surrounded and losing everything, like, he rebuilds. ShoWTimE is posturing on the left. Going for the planetary. Clem is not too far behind, but the planetary gets surrounded. And he's trying to buy more time. Massive storm. Jesus. Yeah, storms on the bio. Oh my god, the storms, they continue. And the army softened up. Vikings, they commit in. Gets 1, 2, and looks like the final Colossus is going to go down. Once again, Clem, he does take the fight. Breaks through the Colossi, and we got to keep going. That's the second big fight that Clem has won, but he's got to keep pressing his advantage. He has to break down some expansions. Oh god. Another storm. Main drop is being dealt with. Jesus. Just barely. Clem is still being active, looking for a way in. The longer this goes on, the Colossus are being rebuilt. Remember, ShoWTimE, he has a bank. Clem does not. Oh, the Metamax! Yeah, losing 1, 2, 3, 4 Metamax. Metamax were exposed. I think ShoWTimE has done it. Yeah, I think he has done it. Here you can also see the size of the map come into play, where even though Clem won 2 major fights, because the map is so large, by the time he got across the map, it was too late. It was just too late to really keep going. ShoWTimE, he had enough time to warp in, to reinforce, to make more Colossus, to make more High Templar, and to defend. As Clem does peel off some units, okay. Does go for a split push. Gets an expansion, denying the recall. Was denied. Even getting into the mineral line. These are the moves that Clem needs to go for that we needed for quite some time. Catching out an expansion. Catching out a base. Clem at the same time catching out a decent portion of the army. Okay, a couple of zealots. Catching out the Colossus as well. Okay. Nice moves here by Clem. He's sharking around. ShoWTimE does try to collapse in. Nice storm here on the bio. Clem has to respect it. He has to respect the army. Clem has to pull away. ShoWTimE still making more Colossus. Making 2 more. Vikings say hunting with a prism. Oh. One Viking goes down. Nice EMP. EMP on the Zealots. Okay, the main target should be the Colossus, should be the High Templar, more importantly as well. It's 3 Templar. Sorry, 4. 1 at home. Meanwhile, as all this posturing has been going on, Clem does need a 5th. He needs a 5th expansion, and you can see that ShoWTimE is mainly focused on patrolling the 5th base locations. As Zell says goodbye, CC's being targeted down, and will actually be killed. Oof. Okay, massive pickoff. Clem does bait out 2 storms. There's still more left over. There's still 6 Templar in total. Oh god. At least 4 storms. Clem, he just ignores the main army, okay? Does threaten to push towards the 3rd. ShoWTimE, he gets scanned, he commits. Clem, he reacts. React to ShoWTimE. The armies are a little bit all over the place. High Templar coming in. High Templar come in. Storm zones back. Jesus, massive storms on the army. Oh god. Massive storms on the bio. Storms on the Vikings. Storms on everything. And with that, ShoWTimE, has he done it? He's trying to at least. Vikings get Colossus. 1 Colossus left. Medivacs, they're holding their own. There's no more Zealots, but GG. Yeah, GG gets called, Clem gets called out, and ShoWTimE fights back, tying up the series 1-1. GG. Hey, GG, well played again. Towards the end, Clem, he ran out of steam, he ran out of money, he had no 5th expansion, he could not sustain his losses, but more importantly, as we mentioned time and time again, there were 2 big moments where Clem dominated the fight, where he was able to win the fight, reset the Colossus count, reset the High Templar count, and he had enough to counterattack as well. But because the map is so large, by the time we got across the map, there were already like 2 or 3 High Templar, there were already 2 Colossus that we had already rebuilt, and ShoWTimE was able to stabilize and afford some of those bad fights and just snowball from there. GG. GG, well played. In the end, it was a bit of a battle of attrition, and Clem, he did get fatigued towards the end. He just could not afford anything. GG. Hey, GG, well played, and that leads us into game number 3. We're tied up 1-1 here. We did embrace a longer macro game finally between ShoWTimE and Clem. ShoWTimE did claim it after claiming a lead early on with his storm drops. Again, the early storm drops were more than worth it. But now we're going to be loading into game 3, going to be loading into White Rabbit. Let's go. We'll see who takes the lead in the series. Who takes the lead, man? Who takes the lead? As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner here, White Rabbits, we have the German Protoss player, we have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the right hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, sorry, the blue Terran. The blue Terran player, we have the French Terran. It is Clem. Here we go. 1 moment. Here we go. We are good to go. But welcome on also White Rabbits. White Rabbit is another one of these larger maps, which means we could embrace another longer and later game here. It could be the trajectory here of the series. But Clem does mix things up, opening up at double gas. Now, what I appreciate, just winding it back a little bit here, if you recall, ShoWTimE did mix things up every game so far in this series. Game 1 was a Stargate. Game 2 was a Robo opener, leading into early Storm drop. Game 3, do we finally play standard, or do we have another quirky build? So now just gate into Cybercore before expansion. Okay. So a slightly later base here for ShoWTimE. Slightly later. From here, we're going to be opening up. Again, Clem going for the faster factory. Delayed CC, more tech-heavy start. With this, we can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion. We can go into more committed mine drops. We can go into earlier Cyclones. We'll see. Eyes are on Clem. As Hellion production has begun, first Reaper sips in. Breaks in, pulls away. And it is going to be, okay, Reactor Reaper Hellion, so a very aggressive opener here. The goal is to build up typically up to 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. We could go a little bit further than that, go up to like 5 and 3, which would be crazy. But building up 3 Reaper Hellion into aggression early on to try to get into a mineral line. Looking for economic damage at the same time for the first time this series, Twilight Council opener. Standard opener out of ShoWTimE. So Twilight Council most likely into Blink. We'll keep an eye on the gateways. We'll keep an eye on the gateways. So far, we do have a second gate on the way. Clem making his way to the main. Does slip in. And we'll get 1 probe. 1 or 2 probes going down. As KDA charge the Reapers, they should get out. Oh, he commits though. Yeah, he commits to the Stalker, and he does snipe the Stalker as well. And he escapes with everything? No shot. I thought he was at least going to trade. The Hellions, they bust into the main base as well. Hellion shot's going to be going up. Workers line up, and that's going to be 6 probe kills. 1 more volley. Ooh, 7. 7 probes and a Stalker, and the 3 Reapers are still alive, gaining more value. Disrupting the mining. Behind this, we do have our eventual 3-1-1 setup. But this has been worth it, Clem. Has been worth it. Again, typically when you open up Reaper Hellion, you want some economic damage. He's found it. Oh. Hopefully everything's okay. As Clem's aggression doesn't end, so going for the mine drop in towards the main. And when behind a Dark Shrine. We saw this a lot so far here tonight. We've seen ShoWTimE go DTs twice against Clem and once against Gabe. He likes his DTs. Mine drop into the main. Jesus. Yeah, catching out 2 probes and an Adept. 1 Widowmine gets away. Reapers will go back into the main. And finally going to be cleaned up. Clem has yet to scout the natural. Bear that in mind. He's not seen the natural. He's not aware of the Dark Shrine, not yet. Back at home, but he has a safety Raven. Yeah, Raven is up and running. We have seen players, even despite having a Raven being out of position, and the DCs can still find some damage, but there's less of a chance happening. It's less likely. Reaper's Age delay the third. Nice pick up here by Clem. Reapers, they are going to be cleaned up. Dark Shrine is now done. Here come the Dark Templar warping in two. Yeah, 2 Dark Templar warping in. One towards the natural, one into the main. Behind this is a Raven parked in the main base. Can we still find some damage? Not in the main. First Dark Templar goes down. Second one does one-shot SCVs, getting 2. 3. Only 3. Yeah, 3. Not enough damage here, as ShoWTimE is sustained just too many losses in the lead up to this, and Clem, he will take a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played again. It was a Hail Mary play from ShoWTimE to go into those Dark Templar. Unfortunately, was not worth it this time. Was not worth it in the end. Clem, he had the Raven, he had the skin, he had detection, he was ready. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, Clem, he takes the lead again. Clem having an amazing start, opening up double gas, opening up faster factory. With Hellion Reaper aggression, he achieved so much damage. It was at 7 to 9 probe kills, plus adepts, plus stalkers. It was just a rough start there for ShoWTimE, even having his third base denied and third base delayed. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be getting into our next game. Going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Sentinels down in the series. Can he bounce back and force the ace match? It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the French Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Team Liquid. Leading the series 2-1 and 1 game away from claiming the series. It is Clem. Clem is him. He is him, baby. He be him. Ah. But again, just a very rough early game there for ShoWTimE. But now we're loading into a larger map, right? Larger map, longer rushes to spy grounds, higher chance that we see standard builds. Higher chance that we have more economic openers instead, and that we slow down in the early game. Of course, I'm sure in ShoWTimE's mind there's potential for a proxy and potential for early game shenanigans. But now the single gas opener, Clem is going for the Rax Expand. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE Game 1 did open up with a Stargate. Game 2 went for a Robo opener. Game 3 was Twilight Council. I would imagine we go back to Twilight Council play. I'll be honest, on the Old Republic, I'm not opposed to seeing a Stargate opener, but it's up to ShoWTimE. Again, one of the reasons for this is because unlike on other maps, this is a full wall. Like, just 2 buildings. 2 buildings here does fully wall off the ramp into the main base. So Terran aggression in the early game and Terran scouting is much more limited, as there's only one way in, through the natural. To go through the natural. Clem does sway forward. I believe Clem, he scouts the Nexus. Yep, does scout the Nexus timing. Is aware that it's on time. Behind this, going for his factory follow-up. Interesting. It's a little bit more common here to open up Marine into Tech Lab, but here it's going to be a Reaper into Marine into no direct add-on swap here for the factory. So we're not opening up Cyclone. Essentially, Clem is cutting corners. He's cutting some corners here. You can see the Reaper scout is denied. Again, that's a full wall. Reaper cannot get in. And the tech is Twilight Council. Yeah, it's going Twilight Council into Blink. How many gates? We have 1 in the main and 2 at the natural, so 3-gate Blink out of ShoWTimE. Relatively safe opener here. From here we can go for a Robo as well and go for a later expand. So ShoWTimE is calming down. Clem did invest into early Hellion production. Interesting. We knew it wasn't going to be Cyclone, but does make a handful of Hellions. I'm a little bit perplexed by this, just because we saw how much damage we dealt in the last game with Reaper Hellion. That's true, but we just mentioned how the SimCity here and the terrain doesn't really allow for much Hellion aggression to really find much damage, or Reapers either. So Clem does invest, but he shouldn't find much damage here. Okay, he attempts to dive, gets punished. Clem has to pull away. Clem pulls away. ShoWTimE setting up for a proxy gateway. Okay, he does have a reinforcement point. That is going to be a 4-gate Blink setup without a Robo. Because he has no Robo, he can afford a faster base. Third base is going to be delayed, but ShoWTimE, he's going to have a lot of Stalkers available to him. He's going to have a lot of Stalkers. Drop into the mineral line. 1, 2, 3 probes, not bad. It denies mining, cripples the economy, even getting one of the Stalkers, just barely. Barely gets one. Oh, catching another probe. Yeah, 5 probes and a Stalker. Nice damage here by Clem. Also confirming there's still no 3rd expansion. And ShoWTimE, we gotta warp in, we gotta make use of this gateway. Oh no, as he moves out the Hellions from the early game. No shot. Oh my god. If you remember, we had this whole little bit talking about how Reaper Hellion doesn't really make sense here. He's not going to get any damage. It was zoned away. But after the damage was out, then he goes in. Clem, he still finds damage. Getting another probe kill. Killing 9 probes so far. ShoWTimE is now moving out. He can reinforce across the map and back it in. What is it to defend? We have a bunker. No tank production though. Again, that's the downside of going for the Hellions, is tank production has been delayed or it's just non-existent. Without tanks, ShoWTimE he can overwhelm. ShoWTimE needs high ground vision. Hallucination comes in. Going for the blink. Oh, does go for the dive. Going for combat shields. Combat shields is denied. Now going for a stim. Very nice pickups here. Denies stim, denies combat shields. ShoWTimE, he's popping up. Blinking down to low ground. The boys have been pulled. And even getting the bunker as well. Getting both. Both bunkers. And Clem is hurting. Clem, on the one hand, he dealt a lot of damage. He delayed the 3rd base. But he has no upgrades. He has no stim. It's a shaky defense here for Clem. Shaky. And ShoWTimE should keep pushing. He should keep pushing. His army's quite low, actually. It's very low. Oh. As he once again is going to blink into the main. Once again denying the add-ons. Dives on the tech lab. Oh, gets a medevac, gets a tech lab. And gets another tech lab as well. And again, this is heavily delaying Clem. Heavily delaying. As Clem is not going to push without stim. So ShoWTimE is free. He's free to just probe up, to saturate. 3rd TC is now on the way for Clem. A very late 3rd base. Late 3rd, late upgrades, late everything. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to Clem pushing here. Clem, sure, his bio army is lacking, but he has a tank. He has 2 Liberators. He has the Raven. He has auto turrets. He has potential with this army, but nah, he's taking a defensive stance instead. He's stuck at home. Warp-ins continue. And ShoWTimE can take a lead. Just has to be careful. Again, there's no need to overextend for ShoWTimE. Mine jump into the 3rd. ShoWTimE does react. Nice retargeting. Again, just being as annoying as possible. Does go for the other unburrow. And this entire time, there's just no mining here at the third. Finally, one wood mine goes down. Jesus, that's a lot of zealots. As the mine drop is dealt with. Oh. Hopefully OBS is stable. Yeah, as ShoWTimE does collapse in, going for the tanks, he gets one. Yeah, one tank goes down. Catching out the rest of the army. Diving on the Raven. And again, a messy defense here for Clem. Getting messy, Pappy. Oh my god. They're barely holding, causing him 12 SCVs. 12 SCVs go down. ShoWTimE still committing in. Yeah, still pokes forward, picking up more Marines. Does have some expensive losses here. Stim is finally done, true. Stim is done, combat shields as well. Clem, he has his upgrades. He can hold his own. Ooh, gets a medevac. ShoWTimE, nice pickles. Nice pickles out of ShoWTimE. It's nice to medevac. Potentially can get the Raven as well. He wants it. Ooh. Oh, let's get another medevac. As ShoWTimE is pushing, we do see Clem slipping out across the map, going for the mineral line. Yeah, ShoWTimE is distracted. He commits. He commits in. The boys are being pulled. Once again, the tank does pop up on the high ground. This one tank is holding the line, forcing the recall. That's going to be 12 probe kills. No shot. 12 workers go down. And Clem is not done. He wants more probes. 14, 15, 16. Can we get 20? 17 probe kills. Clem, he has some breathing room back at home. He stabilizes. Clem takes an economic lead, actually. Shuts down the proxy. And ShoWTimE was doing so well for himself. Again, ShoWTimE did not have to push in the way that he did. But he was hyper-fixated. He failed to break the third base. Losing too many workers across the map, and now suddenly ShoWTimE is behind. And again, this is after a game where he denied combat shields and stim. Like, that's that's crazy. No shot. ShoWTimE is forced to back off, forced to lick his wounds. He's building up a massive amount of High Templar. That's a lot of Templar. 7 High Templar here for ShoWTimE. Storm is on the way. And Clem is turtling. Yeah, he's turtling up. A 4th command center is being thrown down. Because Clem doesn't really have much momentum himself, he is ahead, I will say that. But because the map is so large, by the time he gets across the map, ShoWTimE will have enough. We're just going to build up into a longer game. And it's going to be up to Clem to weather the storm in more ways than one. But it's going to be up to Clem to maintain these 3 bases and slowly get a 4th while surviving the aggression of ShoWTimE. Here comes the Protoss. Yeah, here comes ShoWTimE. Does move in. Storm towards the mineral line. Storm towards the natural. Again, he has so many High Templar. He has what, 7? Storms, they pop off. Oh my god. 7 SCV kills. 10, 11. Oh my god. He keeps going. 12. 12 SCVs go down. And again, this 8 High Templar down to 6 with still plenty of storms remaining. Plenty of storms left over. As the army does collapse in, trying to break on through. Nice storms. Actually, yeah, storms they do zone away, but did you see Clem trying to dive in? Doesn't quite get all the Templar. Storms they bully Clem. There's still what, 3 storms left. Oh, does waste 1 here. Actually, trading well against the Marauders. Jesus. Yeah, storm does land. ShoWTimE pulls away. But what's important here is that Clem, he did sustain a lot of losses here, but he does establish the 4th base. This is what matters. He gets the 4th. 4th is up and running. He's muling as we speak. And if Clem can secure this position, he can max. Meanwhile, the pressure is very much on ShoWTimE to even trade inefficiently as long as he can kill the planetary. Oh, force a recall. Does force a recall. As Clem, he does force his opponent back home. This does allow Clem to set up more sensor towers, liberators, missile turrets, more tanks. As seconds go by, this position is being more secure. Okay, ShoWTimE has got 4 High Templar in the Prism. So there's 4 Templar, committing into the third, pushing into the mineral line. There's a first storm. And 1, 2, 3 storms. A little bit careless with this as the High Templar will go down. He's going to lose everything. A big overextension. Massive overextension here out of ShoWTimE. Losing all his High Templar. Celebrate massive spike. Gets 4 SCVs. Not worth it. There's ShoWTimE. Calm down, papi. Calm down. And Clem extends his lead. Just some rough fights here for ShoWTimE. Trading inefficiently isn't the worst thing, but you need to trade. Did not trade well enough. Meanwhile, Fusion Core's on the way. That's going to be for Liberator range. As Clem, he should be thinking about a second. No, he's already got a second starport. So he's not thinking about Liberators. Ghosts are amassing as well. Raven finally gets caught. As again, ShoWTimE is posturing, once again trying to build back up. This time Clem is max. Like Clem, he's bought enough time. As I mentioned before, once you establish a 4th base, you can max out. Clem has a greater army. He's regained any kind of loss advantages that he had previously. And ShoWTimE's in trouble. He is looking for another way in. He rotates to the low ground. Rotates down, he's got his 4 Colossi. Once again, a high Templar count. Once again, those storms are limited. And ShoWTimE does not find a way in. Clem is now slowly building up his bank. Clem's Viking count is still quite low, so not many Vikings. Does hide the Prism. Prism goes down. Lack of Vikings does mean the Colossus can actually reign supreme. They have a lot of potential. Depending on the engage. 1 out of 10 blood. Oh, does barely get sniped. Clem snipes the Templar. Throwing away 2 more. Jeez, the blanket storms. Storms, they mainly zone away. Yeah, they mainly do zone. The planetary looks like it will go down. But again, we've been spending a lot of storms here. They have not been connecting. And ShoWTimE backs up. Backs off, pulls away. ShoWTimE, he retains the Colossus. He did kill the planetary. The storms, they mainly zoned the army. They didn't really quite commit. Or quite connect, I should say. That's my big concern. Clem is perfecting his forces here. More Vikings, more Ghosts, Liberator range, advanced ballistics has begun. As Clem is coming in from behind. Oh, he's coming in from behind. Nice storms. Yeah, nice storms. EMPs that connect with the Colossus. ShoWTimE has to pull away. Looks like there was a DC. I saw a lot of high tempo on top of the ramp. Clem rotating over. EMP did land on High Templar. Uh-oh. Yeah, that was a brutal EMP. I think that's the first big one that's landed on the Templar specifically. As this game has typically been on the Colossus. I mean, for good reason. There's 5 Colossus. Oh, EMP on the charge lots. Yeah, on the Colossi as well. Vikings, they commit. Clem has to kite back. Yeah, it does kite back. Colossus are exposed. Where are the Zealots? They're too late. Yeah, they're too little too late. High Templar, they're so far behind. No storms. And ShoWTime's army crumbles. Now we have storms, but too little too late. The damage has been done. ShoWTime has to get the hell out of here. He just lost 5 Colossus. Lost all the Colossi 5. And Clem, he's almost maxed. Clem at this point, he's almost maxed out. He can break through the main base. Nuke here on the top side as well. Yo, we got nukes. Does he notice? The Zealot, though. Oh my god, the Ghost does go down. Nuke does land at the same time. Stalkers, they do bring down the Planetary. And Clem turns around. Clem, he's racing back home. As ShoWTime is a little bit desperate here. Desperate for damage. Prism goes down. That was the final storm. And Clem, now we can give chase. There are a lot of expansions, that is true, but again, the main army here is lacking. There's only 2 Colossus. It's mainly Zealots. Yeah, mainly a Zealot army. Again, ShoWTime, he has no gas. Like, he's broke. He has no gas income. That's why he warps in mainly Zealot here. And that's why there are no High Templar. Oh, there's one. There's 1 Templar, there's 1 Storm. Again, gas is just... We have 1 gas on the way here at the 3rd base. No gases here at the 4th. No gas mining in the center. There's the high yield gas geyser at least. And that is helping, but again, one supply is not quite like the other. Looking at the unit type here, you can see 35 Zealots. That's the army. 35 Zealots, only 10 Stalkers, only 1 High Templar, and 3 Colossus. It's a heavy mineral-based army. It just doesn't scale well. It doesn't scale. Nice round. Okay, nice round on the Planetary. Mass EMP on the Stalkers. Oh, gosh. They get punished for the blinks. Colossus are on their own, and they're going to reset the Colossus count. Yeah, every Colossus falls. The Zealots as well. And sure, ShoWTime, he kills an expansion, but he will lose almost everything in the process, losing 3 Colossus. As they'll get into another mineral line, true. Like, again, ShoWTime, he does kill a lot of SCVs, but that's all he's killing. He's only killing workers. The main army is so terrifying for Clem. ShoWTime, once again, he's warping in mainly Zealots. And again, that's all he can afford. And he cannot max out. He just doesn't have the bank to max out. He's down to 2 High Templar. Meanwhile, Junior up into the natural. Going for the tech. Main army towards the center base. Oh, nice EMP. Going for the Colossus. Colossus goes down. Massive pickup. Bay as well. Which means no more Colossus reinforcements. At the same time, the center base does fall. And ShoWTime is being torn apart. Even going for the nuke. No shot. Oh, the Ghost. Jesus. Yeah, he's going for the nuke. No detection. Yeah, no observer here. Does he notice the nuke? Oh my god. Does split. Does split in time. Nuke does not connect. There was potential. There was potential. And with that, Clem is knocking down the fresh mining bases. Yeah, he's knocking down a center base, top left, and center left as well. Should be knocking down the expansions. ShoWTime going for the counterattack. The liberation has arrived. As earlier, ShoWTime at least had mineral income, not anymore. Oh, that's fine. 2 free tanks. Sorry, 2 free liberators. Does catch a couple of free Liberators. But again, the army is down to 1 Colossus, 2 High Templar. Zealots, they do collapse on some of the Ghosts at least. A couple of Ghosts go down. Storm is coming in. No! Oh my god. Snipes the Templar. There's 1 left. Another snipe. 0 left. 0 Templar. Not like this. It's 32 Zealots. Okay, 3 more Templar warping in. Just now warps in the High Templar. And Clem is snowballing out of control. He has broken through. Again, a very intense back and forth here between Clem and ShoWTimE, where initially ShoWTimE was ahead. Remember, ShoWTimE, he was containing Clem on even 2 bases. Like, ShoWTimE, he had a lead early on, but ShoWTimE did lose that lead. ShoWTimE, he took some really rough fights, pushing into the defensive army. I'm referring specifically to the moment where he pushed into this forward base, this 4th base, where ShoWTimE overextended. He didn't quite break the expansion, and at the same time, Clem dropped here at the triangular 3rd. And that's when ShoWTimE recalled. The drop dealt so much damage, and ShoWTimE lost his momentum. And now we're going for the base trade. It's the only chance. He's trying to base trade, but the Vikings, they come back home. They catch up the Colossus. Vikings, they can land. Ooh, the storms are brutal. Jesus. The storms are crazy, but it's not good enough. GG gets called, and Clem, he will claim the series 3-1, becoming the HomeStory Cup 28 champion. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Clem, he does claim the series, took ShoWTimE down in the upper bracket earlier, and now does it again, once again here in the grand finals. A very different series though. I did appreciate it. Very, very different series. If you notice, we did see a lot more macro here between Clem and ShoWTimE. Their first series was very short. As we mentioned, it was a 30-minute best of 5. Like, it was very, very short games, very short matches in that first series. Here we got to embrace the longer and later game as well, and I could have even seen this game going to the ace match, this series going to the ace match. Again, ShoWTimE was ahead. ShoWTimE, he was looking dominant early on. He was containing his opponents. Remember what happened. ShoWTimE, he went into the proxy gateway, 4-gate blink, he blinked into the main base, he sniped both tech labs, denied stim, denied combat shields. He was bullying Clem. Like, Clem was being bullied. And then Clem slowly stabilized. He was able to get some early damage with his Reaper Hellion, which was surprising if you recall. Then he was able to stabilize, getting his 3rd base and eventually his 4th expansion. And we did mention that there were two big moments where ShoWTimE, he was ahead. He had the supply lead, he had the economic lead, but he overextended, pushing to the 3rd and the 4th. In two separate occasions, took some really rough fights, and he was punished for it as a result. Even a couple of times, Clem going for his own counter drop play at the same time, which dealt devastating damage. There was that one drop that killed, what, like 14 probes across the map. It was insane how much damage was being dealt. GG. GG, well played. So an impressive comeback there from Clem, as Clem was behind. He had a really, really shaky, like, first third of the game, but then he slowly recovered, bounced back, and took it from there. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Clem, as it does claim the series, and a shout out to ShoWTimE for making it all the way to the finals. Very impressive play here. ShoWTimE took down SOS, Gabe as well to make it to the end, even Gabe once again to make it to this finals. Very impressive play here. Likewise, a shout out to Gabe for causing an upset. Gabe, he was the player that knocked out Sterile. I'm sure everyone was very happy about that. I was referring to the players. I mean, I'm sure that ShoWTimE was very ecstatic to see that Gabe could knock down Sterile. I'm sure that Clem was also satisfied as well. But GG, well played. Crazy play there by Gabe to bring Sterile down. And in the end, Clem is our champion. Congratulations here to Clem. Again, he's the best Terran player in the world, and he still holds on to that mantle here. Came in as the favorite player. Shout out to ShoWTimE, because if you look at Clem's run to the finals, ShoWTimE was the only player to take a map. He took 2 maps. True, and we could have even seen 3, to be honest. Like, again, this could have very easily gone to the ace match, but ShoWTimE did prove to be a worthy opponent here to Clem. Did prove it. GG, well played. GG, well played. Congratulations here, as once again, a shout out to Take TV, shout out to Take for hosting this event, despite, you know, the doom and gloom that's been permeating throughout the StarCraft scene recently, especially with the with EWC no longer hosting the StarCraft esports at the Esports World Cup. There has been some doom, some gloom, but despite that, still plenty of tournaments. We have SE for All, we have HomeStory Cup, we have RSL, we have the Pigsty Festival, we have the Wardy TV Winter Championship, we have Star of Zagora, which is right around the corner. That's going to be next month. That's a big offline event. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. There's plenty of StarCraft going on and plenty of tournaments that are happening. Don't forget Rongi Cup, Thunderfire Cup as well, Kung Fu Cup. We are aware that SE Boy, they want to host more tournaments and more events in StarCraft as well. So there's plenty to go on, and even more that's happening as we speak, right? Like in this week, we have Pigsty Festival, the Wardy event, and RSL as well. Crazy. A lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. A lot of StarCraft. Speaking of StarCraft, bam, we have our weekly schedule. As you can see here, we just wrapped up our early morning Monday broadcast. So Monday broadcast is in the books, and up next we are going to be live this evening, I believe, with Pig Osor Cup. Let me just double check that. Yes. This evening is going to be a replay cast of Pig Cup number 65, which is one of the Pig Cups we did miss out on, so we're catching up. We're still playing catch up there. We then have OSC Elite Rising Star Tournament, so that is going to be the final day of 17.5. That is going to be tomorrow morning. That's going to be on Tuesday. We then have a Pig Cup live cast on Wednesday. We have the Wardy TV replay cast on Wednesday evening. We have the Pond cast. We have Little League Cup as well. Little League Cup, that is going to be a catch-up coverage from us. We did miss out on Little League Cup because we were catching up with everything else. So we have Little League Cup Group A on Friday, Group B on Sunday, working through the group stage and then working through the playoffs as well, as that was another big major event that did occur like a week ago. So we're going to be all over that. We have KSL this weekend. True, KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, is going to be on Saturday. We have Ducklings Open on Saturday, and we have Sparkling Tuna Cup on Sunday. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. Again, almost 2 casts a day every single day. Most likely, we do have another cast for Thursday. You can see that Thursday morning, that slot is open. Most likely, we're going to be filling it up. Just there's a lot of content, there's a lot of StarCraft to catch up on. Eventually we have to catch up on StarCraft Evolution. SC Evo, they've been hosting a couple of events once again, so we have to catch up on that as well. There's just a lot going on with StarCraft Evolution. Code for Giants Cup, they began their new season again. True. Code for Giants Cup also did begin, so we have to get on that. Likewise, Uthermal's hosting his 2v2 tournaments, and of course plenty of other open cups on a regular basis as well. Plenty of StarCraft. GG well played. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. Patreon does fund our tournaments like the Tuna Cup and like Sea Duckling Open, which is our Bronze to Diamond tournament. So again, we have our events over the weekend. You can support us via Patreon. Otherwise, if you want to tune into the VODs, if you missed out on previous days of HomeStory Cup, then check out the VODs over on YouTube, !YouTube in the chat, or socials, and you'll get a link to all of our socials. You'll get a link to our YouTube channel as well. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. Aye. So again, we do upload to YouTube on a daily basis. Meanwhile, we do have some other projects in the works. We do have plans to potentially start something else, and this is a teaser of a teaser, but do look out for some additional content regarding the CranKy Ducklings, not just tournament casting, not just our podcast, but potentially something else as well, also StarCraft related. So that is something that we are working on, and that may come to fruition within the next month or so. We'll see. Like right now, we're still playing catch up, right? We're still focusing on catching up on all these casts. I would say that after we finish catching up on all these events, then we can start working on new projects, and you know, soon to be announced. Soon to be announced. Yeah. Teaser of a teaser. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who is live at the moment? Who is live? Who can we send everyone over to? I do see Foxer. Foxer. Foxer is live. Exertus, they're streaming their clan war. I see Dave. Not aware of any others. Oh, Cian is live. Cian, papi. True. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Here. I'll see you guys later on tonight for the Pig Cup replay cast, or I'll see you tomorrow for OSC Elite Rising Star. Until then, thanks for watching. Ciao, papi, ciao. Thanks for watching. Hasta luego.